It's called Smut. Give me smut and nothing but a dirty novel I can't.
Welcome to Femmes Reading Filth. I'm Emily.
I'm Jess.
And we have a special guest today.
We do.
It's Wells
Thompson.
I know, I got excited. Wells! I just really like saying your name, too, by the way.
I like it too. Thank you.
Very fun to say. Anyways, Wells Thompson is an author and a art. Well, I'm sorry. Do you actually do the art for your books?
No.
Too? I didn't. I was like, wait a minute. As I said, that's not right.
know. Yes.
That's
No,
not
I don't
right.
draw for shit. No one wants to see that.
Can't draw a straight line. Neither can I. It's
No,
okay.
no.
Yeah.
Wells is a friend that you may have seen on one of our TikTok videos. He was kind enough to talk to us at C2E2. And so now we're buddies.
We found you in Artist Alley.
Yes.
Indeed.
Hence why I was like, wait a minute, as it came out of my mouth. I'm like, no. But that was a really cool experience to meet you there. And we've stayed in touch. And you were like, I would love to be on the pod. And we're like, I guess.
Yeah.
And JK, we were like, yes, please come on our podcast.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, especially after we learned about the books that you have written, and you have one in front of you right now. If you want to like just plug it real,
tell
we're
the
going to
people.
plug it a bunch, but I want to plug it right now too.
Sure. So, probably the thing I'm best known for, and this is entirely my fault, is a book called Smut. It is an erotic slice of life comedy about three women working through their very messy love lives.
Yes.
I was very inspired by like Sunstone and Sex Criminals, and as well as like
They're making Sex Criminals into a show now, I saw.
Hell yes.
Which that's how I just learned about it, because The Boys is ending and they're like,
Yeah.
you should look at this. And I was like, fuck, Sex Criminals sounds cool.
Chip
So-
Zdarsky is the funniest motherfucker on the planet.
Yeah.
And just generally speaking, he did like a joke masterclass about what it takes to be a comic book writer. Funniest thing I've ever heard, I've ever watched in my entire life. Highly recommend. But I don't exclusively write smut, but it has become kind of a cornerstone of what I offer. Very recently, I had a project on Kickstarter called Love is Simple, which is not only smut but Greek mythology.
Yep. Which is, I got really excited about that one.
Yeah.
So directly up your alley.
I know, it truly, and I've literally been looking at the Kickstarter, looking at your Instagram, because you posted some things on there, and I was like, I can't wait for this one. So
Indeed. Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm super excited about it. And for those listening, still available to get on late pledges. You can find it on Kickstarter and back it still.
Perfect.
Yes.
What do you think got you into? I know you mentioned, authors and other works that that inspired you, but like, what is special about smut to you?
Ooh, about smut, this book, or smut the genre?
Both.
Yes.
Okay, so
We should ask people that more often.
Yeah.
too. Let's put that in our list.
Yeah.
love that. So what was special about this book to me is that I got to coming from a background of like, I'm from the South. Sex education is like a scare tactic, not really like anything that they're like, oh, and here's enthusiastic consent, and here's these things that actually you need to know in life.
Abstinence or die kind of thing.
Yeah, no, really. That Mean Girls thing of like, don't have sex or you will die. You'll get pregnant and die. That's 100% like really what it was like being in the South.
Woof.
And so I wanted to, like, all the things that I had to kind of hard mode learn, I wanted to put into a book that was useful at the same time that like smut was kind of having a moment on Kickstarter, and everyone was flocking toward that as a genre and as a sort of mode of being. And I, like most things, born a little bit out of spite of just like, well, I can do that better.
Yeah.
So I did.
Do you want to ask Wells if he knows how to read, or
Yeah,
has
I
that
do.
already been established at this point?
No,
for
we
you?
have no idea yet.
Okay.
No one knows.
All
so
right.
we have to go into our normal, you are a guest for the first time. We ask everybody this. Do you know how to read?
No.
Do you like to read?
No.
Oh my God. This
Damn.
is the first double no.
Pressure
No,
is on.
I do know how to read, and I actually do enjoy reading, though it is... I have a bit of a relationship with it because my outlet for reading, my ability to read, largely came from like taking the train to work every day and just like knocking out a chapter. And I read like 40 books the first year that I moved to Chicago. It was a beautiful feeling. And then I made the decision to quit my job and focus fully on writing. And also my like a time to read tanked as a result.
Yeah.
Do you read fan fiction? Have you ever touched on, interacted with fan fiction, something that was created from out of love for an original piece of work kind of
Sure.
thing?
In many ways, yes. In the traditional AO3 way, not as much. I
Okay.
have interacted with it in some ways. My writing partner and good friend Dalton Shannon once told me that like we're in comics, it's all fan fiction, and that kind of warped my mind a little bit.
Okay, I can
Like,
see that argument though, for sure.
Every Batman comic you've ever read that wasn't made by the original creators is in an extent fan fiction.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Per usual, we asked Wells, what should we talk about? What's something that you want to chat about? And you said Pon Farr.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to tell the listener
In your own words.
In your own words, what Pon Farr is and why you want to talk about it?
So Pon Farr is a very specific kind of trope. It's actually the name of the like biological function like thing that that Gene Roddenberry was referring to. It is a Star Trek thing. Apparently Vulcans go through this hormonal imbalance every like 7 years where they just gotta fuck. Like could die, it's savage, they lose their mind, where normally they're very like emotionally
Logical.
detached,
Yeah.
logical. It's like just it swings hard in the other direction. And this barely shows up in the actual show, but it is canon. Gene Roddenberry did confirm that's a real thing for some reason. It's a little bit like if you've seen that like what I think is a joke article of like Nintendo confirms Waluigi is uncircumcised. It's like, why would they have to? It's like, no, but he did.
But I mean, it was an episode. It was a full episode.
Yeah.
we both watched that episode today.
But it's a lot of fan fiction is like, they have to. Well, what if it's just Captain Kirk and they're just good buds. He's just helping his buddy out. I did it for two reasons. One, as I alluded to, I have a book that's very Greek mythology is smuttier because Greek mythology is kind of smutty anyway.
Yep.
But the premise behind it is that after the Trojan War, Aphrodite has this like overwhelming sense of guilt and kind of an existential crisis about like what does it mean to be the god of love, goddess of love, after she kidnaps Helen of Troy and causes the Trojan War and like causes all this death and destruction. And so instead of like doing a therapy about it, she's like, what if I made it everyone else's problem? So she gets drunk and goes to a club and writes in lipstick in a mirror, "Love is simple." And everyone gets horny and has an orgy. And that ripples out to the consequences of the rest of the series.
Gotcha.
So that was a very Pon Farr scenario that I wound up writing, and I realized that that's kind of what it was. I was like, it would be kind of fun to talk about that.
Okay, nice. From fandom.com, one of my favorites.
Look at you.
I'll just do like the actual like copy and pasted meaning. So the Pon Farr was a Vulcan time of mating, and the rituals following it were shrouded under a veil of mystery and secrecy. It was considered to be a very private matter within Vulcan society, so much so that only a handful of Starfleet doctors and like Kirk had ever handled it. Among themselves, Vulcans found it inappropriate to involve themselves with another's Pon Farr. The Vulcans undergo a neurochemical madness, and if their Pon Farr, I just love saying it, is not satiated within 8 days, they could die.
Yep.
The imbalance or the madness can also be transferred to someone else via telepathy. And then while Vulcans can be attracted to anyone at any time, the mating time / Pon Farr, like the actual mating Pon Farr, is only once every 7 years.
Yes.
And that was kind of just like the medical terminology kind of stuff.
But there's also you can fight to the death.
Yeah, if
Or
someone
you can
challenges
fuck.
you, yeah.
Or you can just choose to die. You don't necessarily have to bang.
Yeah.
Like you also have the option to fight to the death, which is what they do in the actual episode that Pon Farr is
which
in.
we both watched today.
We both watched today.
For the first time. I'd never seen.
Called Amok Time, season 2, episode 1. So they kicked off the season with this
Much
episode.
like us with Knife Play, they did Pon Farr.
They went in. And I did see, because I had not seen the original series episodes in a very long time. I used to watch them kind of piecemeal with my dad. And this was probably the first time I've sat down as an adult to watch a full original series episode.
Same.
The drama.
The music, the zoom in. I was texting her and I'm like, this is hilarious. Like in a fun way and not in a making fun of it way. Like I'm enjoying this.
If
and this is
I
fun.
was a nerd back in the day,
Oh my God, yeah.
100% I would be obsessed with Star Trek, because there is such,
It's so dramatic.
such drama. Everyone is so serious, and they do set up this world so effectively.
Yeah.
And in this episode in particular, it gets into one of my favorite kind of romance tropes, which is the very stoic, very smart guy is suddenly undone.
Yeah.
And he can't speak in full sentences, and he's twitchy all of a sudden, and he just can't handle whatever's going on. And so I completely understand why the fans were like, ooh, we like this. We're going to do something with this.
I also do remember looking up who wrote this, and I think his name was Theodore Sturgeon or something like that.
That sounds
Ben, if
great.
that's wrong, put the name right here.
Thank you, Ben.
And he only wrote 2 episodes. That was one of them. But he was like an award-winning like short story guy and like novelist and like lived a life, died in the 80s. But I was like, this guy's name is on so many things. And I think the thing he was like most known for though was like Amok Time. Like, which I kind of thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
Remember when writers had fun?
What happened?
Back in the day.
Now we
got
just
strikes
complain
left and
online.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I do want to say, because I did a little bit of research into, and then we'll get into my story. I did a little bit of research into just like the Star Trek fandom and how they kicked off fandom in general, which we kind of talked about, but just as like a little like thing that I found really interesting. So the first like fanzine was called Spockanalia, and it came out in I want to say 1967, and in the 4th issue was the first romantic story featuring Spock, and for a very long time it was only heterosexual couples. It was still very taboo to do any Spock and Kirk, which I think is what people nowadays think of mostly when they think
Absolutely.
of Star Trek
Originally.
fandom. That was very taboo, and even talking about or portraying sex was very taboo. Like I found those articles that I was talking about that fans wrote arguing like, we can't besmirch the good name of Star Trek by putting smut in there. Like, we can't describe them having sex. That would be insane. Like,
If they only knew.
yeah, it was the quote I wrote down. I'm trying to find it, but it was basically like someone in their article was like, we must remember that, quote, psychiatrists say this is normal and we should talk about it more often. Like, it was like a very underground thing, even with the fans for a very long time. And then it kind of, because the fans needed somewhere to grow, eventually it became more mainstream. But at the time, it was it was mostly heterosexual pairings, and there weren't a whole lot of dirty stories coming out of this fandom.
Oh, they came soon.
Yeah.
Came soon enough.
Oh, they came.
Oh, they came.
Oh, they came.
Yeah, but the first X-rated zine was called Grupp, and it was a very highly controversial because their first issue had a nude centerfold of Mr. Spock, and that kicked off the whole thing.
I mean, someone drew it.
Somebody drew. Yeah.
Okay, it wasn't like somebody dressed up as Mr. Spock.
No, it was like fan art. It was
Someone just got a picture of Leonard Nimoy with the ears.
And they like very crudely taped it.
Yep.
On like a
and I was
Playboy
gonna do
thing.
it, and I didn't, and I'm kicking myself that I didn't. But I wanted to go on eBay and see if I could find. Like, I bet some of these zines, especially that centerfold of
I
Mr.
bet
Spock,
they go for a lot of money.
Ben, if you can find that centerfold of Mr. Spock, put it right
right in the middle,
right now,
and also how much it costs.
and go.
Thank you, Ben.
And gone. Ben's gonna be like, I fucking hate editing.
I think he was gonna hate it. So I had to do a Star Trek Kirk Spock fanfic.
Yeah,
Of
I
course.
just felt that
which we've never done before.
we've never done it before.
That's amazing.
No, yeah, this
I
is
feel
the
so blessed.
You're welcome.
We kind of avoided it because we were like, this is such a big topic. Like, and none of our guests have mentioned it. But then when you said it, we were like, all right, let's go all in.
Go.
So we are doing kath-vuk fator, which is Vulcan. There's a lot of Vulcan in this film.
I was gonna say, good job on the pronunciation.
Thank you. I don't know if I said it right.
No, I think you did. Like you didn't stutter. You did good. Thank you. Fuck.
Yeah, and it's my first Kirk Spock fic that I've ever read. But I picked it because I thought it gave a very good overview, actually, of like the Star Trek version of Pon Farr. It's by AgentStannerShipper. It's 1 chapter, but it is 56,000 words.
Jesus.
Yes. And it was
Buckle
published in April of 2022.
For those who don't know, that's a novel.
Yes. I read this novel.
That's technically a novella, I think, right? Or no, is it?
That's
it
a
is
full-blown
a novel.
novel.
Over
50,000
50,000.
words.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think 45 is usually the novella.
but only 1 chapter.
Then we're fine.
Just
Okay.
one really big
I don't
document.
think you can call it a chapter at that point. That's just the document.
I'm
just
glad
the
this
document.
is what I usually read, though. So I'm happy that you're doing
Oh, yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Although
Well,
you do usually.
I set my filter. My upper word limit is for the podcast is 80,000.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my low
Yeah.
is 40. I try to do somewhere between 40 and 80.
Okay.
Because
mine
lower
is
than that, there's not as much to talk about.
fair. Mine is pages, and I do 400 or under.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair.
It's a whole thing. Dude, get ready.
Psychotic.
The important thing to note with this fanfic is, because it was published a little bit later, this was when we had which I was involved in this fandom a little, we had a resurgence of Star Trek fandom with the movies. The J.J. Abrams, Chris Pine,
absolutely. Yeah.
the Calvin timeline is what it's called.
So these are we should be thinking of those.
Think
ones.
of Chris Pine
Honestly,
and
easy. Done.
Zachary Quinto.
It's like already thinking about
Done.
it.
I'm constant. If I'm not thinking of Chris Pine, something's wrong.
Yes. But I refreshed myself, and the main deviation in this timeline is a Romulan escapes into Spock actually causes a Romulan to come into our timeline, and he kills Kirk's father. So in this timeline, Kirk does not grow up like with a father or tied to Starfleet from the beginning. He's an outsider, etc. And also we have Spock, and also Spock Prime, who is Leonard Nimoy,
Oh yeah,
who is involved. So
I forgot about that. I gotta
Yes.
rewatch this movie.
I loved it when it came
I
out.
loved it too.
The original, really good. The Into Darkness, I felt like
good.
I don't think
I
they-
watched it, loved it in the theater, and then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, it was an
yeah.
experience, but like not anything that I'm ever gonna go
Yeah,
back to.
I kind of never want to watch it again.
Yes. But those are the two things to just keep in mind, because Spock Prime does make an appearance in this.
Okay.
In this fic. Okay. So we're getting into it. The USS Enterprise is a few weeks into its normal 5-year assignment. Okay. And Kirk is in the rec room doing whatever he's doing, and Spock very, very suddenly crosses the room and hands him a PADD, personal access display device, a tablet.
Yeah, can you dumb it down for me?
It's a tablet.
Okay, gotcha.
When they made Star Trek back in the day, tablets and phones didn't exist as we know them now.
Do you
But
think
that's basically what they
baby is like
pad.
a term? Is a
Pad
or
or pid.
Kirk is like, what's this? And he's like noticing how stiff Spock is and that he seems kind of upset. And he's like, don't worry about it. You just need to sign this if I'm going to serve on the Enterprise. It is a like a medical dispensation. Like you just need to sign off as the captain that you're okay, that if this thing happens that I'm not going to tell you about and Bones comes to you and says that it's happening, then we need to go to New Vulcan as quickly as possible.
And Bones is the doctor.
Bones is the doctor.
Just for people that don't know.
Yes. If
Dr.
you don't know
McCoy.
that Dr. McCoy is whatever.
Hey, some people have never touched this before, you know?
I
Some
know.
people grew up as Star Wars people.
My childhood dog was named Sulu. So, and you know, my dad named him Sulu. So this is just like in my blood. So yes, if the doctor, if anyone from the medical checks out Spock and goes, it's happening, Kirk needs to get them to New Vulcan.
Yeah, okay.
And Kirk is like, but what's going on? And Spock is like, you don't need to know. And Kirk opens up the form and most of it's redacted. It's basically just like, this is what you need. This is your role. Sign for it. This is all from Jim's perspective, Jim Kirk. And so we're getting his POV, and he's thinking about how he has a huge crush on Spock. And he's really concerned because he's like, but I want to know, because like, what if something's wrong with him? What's going on? We know from canon that this is not a man who does well with not knowing things. He will break many rules to know things, and this is no exception.
He cheated on the Kobayashi Maru.
Yes, he did.
I remember I pulled that one out of nowhere.
Yes. And
I think, frankly, impressive.
Thank you. Thank you.
oh, and something important is this story happens immediately after the events of the movie.
Okay.
So in the movie, they Kirk goads Spock into basically attacking him in order to get what he wants. And in our story, Kirk keeps thinking about how Spock jumped on him, beat the shit out of him, and choked him, and how much he enjoyed that.
Oh my God. Kirk's a sub?
That was the beginning of the crush.
Did
okay.
you ever have a doubt in your mind?
Kirk's always been a sub.
Listen, I have other thoughts and feelings, okay? It's fine.
So he gets these orders. He's like, fine. But he resolves to find out what the fuck's going on. He cannot handle the fact that he doesn't know what's going on. He goes to Bones and is like, please tell me what's going on. He's like, no, get the fuck out of the medical bay. He then calls Spock Prime.
Does it do it at any point? Does he say, damn it, Jim?
Yes, damn it, Jim. I'm a doctor, not a...
Damn it, Jim. My doctor.
Yes. And Kirk goes, I thought you were a doctor. He goes, damn it, Jim, I am. Get out of my medical bay. And then he calls Spock Prime and is like, your younger self just handed me this thing. Can you tell me anything about it? And Spock Prime is like, it's something that we're doing because we have to repopulate because original Vulcan was destroyed in the first movie. He's like, so we have the new planet, and so all available people are being called to participate in this ritual now, and they can't just meditate their way out of it or fight their way out of it the way that they may have normally.
Okay.
So this is how we're weaving our way in. You see where we're going?
Yeah.
But he won't tell him anything else. He's like, I'm not going to disclose my younger self's personal medical information. And Kirk's like, damn it. So Kirk develops this plan. He's like, okay, I'm going to learn how to speak Vulcan because there have to be like medical textbooks and like documentation that I can read to learn about this. Because he tries at first and he's like, all of this is in a language I don't understand. So he gets Uhura on board to like teach him this language. They start meeting once a week. She's like suspicious at first, but she's like, fine, you're my captain. I like languages. Let's do this. And
I like languages.
Whatever.
I've got one personality trait. I like languages.
Yep, that's all I've got. I'm very competent, and I'm like, I like them.
This is a Spock Kirk fanfic. I know my place.
Yeah, 100%.
I'll be over here.
I cut out some of her bits and pieces because she is like the fun. Her and Bones are like the fun, like sassy best friends. That's kind of the role they take in this, but I cut them out because I had 54,000 words.
Yeah,
to tell
totally
you about.
fair. Yeah.
Jim, the other part of Jim Kirk's plan is I'm just going to become Spock's friend because then maybe he'll just tell me. And that, or at the very least, and what he's telling himself in the back of his head is like, it's not because I have a crush. It's because I'm going to monitor his health by being around him.
Okay,
and then
Jim.
that way I'll know if something changes and I'm just being a good captain.
Can I just say psychotic that I'll just be his friend wasn't the first thought?
No, yeah, exactly. He's like, no.
I agree with this plan.
I need to learn a different language so that I can spy on him.
Yeah.
Or we'll just, have a beer.
You're
Maybe we'll hang out.
You're attacking from two sides. I like it.
Yes,
you know?
it's a good strategic plan, I think.
Yeah.
And he approaches Spock once again at a mealtime and sits down and is like, okay, I have to do this in a way that he will accept. And he's like, I believe that it is very logical that we start to hang out because it will help our rapport on the bridge because I'm captain and you're first officer. And so we should start like getting to know each other so that we can communicate better. And Spock is like, this is very logical. I accept your proposal.
How much am I allowed to derail the conversation?
You can, yeah.
Okay, so this is a true story. This is real.
Yeah.
So the way I propose to my wife is by like taking her out to an overlook and like basically tricking her into thinking we were going to brunch so that we would get dressed up nice and like it was a whole thing. But actually the way we got engaged is that like a year prior, she walked downstairs in a bathrobe, sat on my desk, and said these words in this order. I believe that it would be mutually beneficial if when we moved to go to grad school, wherever that might be, we were to become each other's next of kin. And I said, oh my God, it's just like I dreamed about when I was a little girl. Yeah, truly insane. And just the way that you said that.
Yes, this is a very logical reason.
That's my wife.
Yes.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
That is a shower thought too. It's like, oh God, I gotta
this
get
is the
this
best
done.
thing to do.
Yeah.
So the proposal's accepted, and Kirk is like, we should start to play chess together because I know that Spock really likes chess. Spock is like, I am a Vulcan. We play 3D, 4D chess and are really, really good at it.
Which I saw in the episode.
Yes. And he's like, he says much nicer and Vulcan-y, but he says, I'm going to kick your ass if we play chess. Yeah. And Kirk is like, it's fine. He destroys him in like 20 minutes. But it's okay because it gives him a chance to like tease and flirt a little, and he's a little bit like Kirk is like poking at Spock a little bit and is like, see, I'm a little bit better than you thought, and Spock's like, no, you're not, it's fine, it's whatever, and it's like working a little bit, and Kirk feels very good about himself. And he asks Spock, he's like this is when they start to open up to each other a little bit. He's like, why did you choose to serve on Starfleet instead of a Vulcan vessel? Like, why here? And Spock seems very surprised by the question because it's very personal, and he pauses and he says, on Starfleet I am a Vulcan amongst humans, on a Vulcan vessel, I am a human amongst Vulcans.
Oh, because he's half,
Yeah.
right?
He's half, he's half human, half Vulcan, and so he basically implies that on the other vessel he would be kind of looked down upon, but on Starfleet he is kind of seen as this very, very smart, very, very capable
He has
person.
this exalted role.
Yeah, it's not a deficiency the way that his people see it as, see being human as. And so they bond over Kirk getting his ass kicked at chess. And Spock says that they can play again when Kirk can beat a computer at intermediate level. He's like, I'm not going to take it easy on you, but also this is a waste of both of our time unless you train a little bit more.
That's kind of cute.
And he's going to leave, and he is hovering in the doorway, and Spock turns and he says, "Our game was not without merit. I look forward to you achieving a level at which we can play again." And Jim like blushes and tries not to look too much more into that.
Cute.
The crush intensifies. Kirk starts sitting with Spock at meals once again to be like, if I observe what he eats, I'll be able to tell if there's a change in behavior and know if the health event is happening.
Okay.
But mainly what he learns is that Spock really, really likes dessert. And Vulcans are usually very like vegan, no seasoning, plain meal people. But he
Boiled
likes
chicken.
Yeah, but he likes a piece of cake. And Kirk's like, okay. And they're like
Little
learning
sweet
things about
tooth.
each other. And then the next thing that Jim does to try to get close to him is he sees he's in the gym. He likes to, I don't know if this is canonical or not, but in this story, Kirk likes to wrestle. Like that was what his training was like hand-to-hand combat.
Into it.
But now that he is now that he is like the captain, no one will wrestle with him because it would be like treason to hurt your commanding officer.
Uh-huh.
And so he like tries to do it, and then no one will play with him essentially. And so he's just like sitting on the bench sad. And he sees across the way Spock and Uhura doing this like kind of almost dance combat where they're not even touching each other, but they're circling each other and kind of doing the same kind of moves.
Uh-huh.
And after they're done, he approaches Spock and is like, "What was that?" And Spock tells him, "I'm not even going to try to say the Vulcan word for it. I wrote it down. We're just not going to do it." And Jim is like, "Oh, this is my chance." And he's like, "What if you taught me some of these things and we can train together because no one will wrestle me?"
Mm-hmm.
And in the back of his mind, he's like, "And maybe this way we'll touch each other every once in a while." No, it's fine. It's just for his health. It's just trying to be a good friend and a good commanding officer. And so they start to spar. And the entire time, so now they start to spar basically every day. And the entire time, Jim's trying not to think about the really hot time that he got choked by Spock a couple months ago. And it's like this whole thing where he's like, it's fine. I'm not horny. It's fine. And they're in the middle of like sparring, like on the third day. And Spock suddenly says in like a very cold voice, "I noticed that you have yet to submit fraternization papers with Lieutenant Uhura." And Jim is like, what? And Spock's like, "Regulations state that you need to submit this paperwork." And Jim's like, "What do you mean?" And Spock goes, 7 months ago, you started to arrange private meetings with Lieutenant Uhura, and you started to exhibit behavioral cues consistent with intimacy together. I have noticed you have ceased bickering as much as you often do. You eat meals together, and you spend isolated time once a week. And Jim is like, and like starts to smile. And Spock is clearly upset about, like, not upset about it because he's a Vulcan, but is clearly surprised that he's not getting the reaction that he probably thought he would. And he goes, "And she laughs at your jokes." And and Jim is like, "We are not dating. She is teaching me Vulcan." And Spock stops and like because they're also, Jim is in a hold this entire time.
Oh, like in a spar hole?
He's
He
in like
waited-
a spar
yeah.
hold,
Okay,
and
gotcha.
Spock
He
is like,
waited to bring this up until he was like,
yes,
Yeah,
until
of
they
course.
didn't have to look at each other. And Jim is like, "We are not dating. She's been teaching me Vulcan." And Spock is like, "Why?" And he goes, "Because I have a Vulcan first officer and I thought that I should know the language." And he goes, "You're learning that from me?"
Aww.
And
Get you a man.
I know. And
Legit.
then Kirk goes, "Can we just go back to you throwing me around?" And he swears to God that he can see a little green blush on the tips of Spock's ears.
A green blush.
A little green blush. Oh yeah, because his blood is green.
Yeah.
yeah.
For the listener that doesn't know, Spock's blood is green.
There you go. Fun fact number 2. McCoy bones, blood green.
So this continues for many, many, many more months. Kirk continues to learn things about Spock. We learn about the Vulcan psychic ability, that a lot of the reason that Vulcans are as stoic as they are is because they can sense and feel emotions through like their fingertips, through skin to skin contact. That's why Vulcans don't often touch casually. It's a very big deal. Like there's a lot of neurodivergent coding in
You don't
Yes.
say.
yeah, very overwhelming,
Very much
that
so.
kind of a thing. Too much psychic input is the way that the story put it. And Vulcans meditate regularly every night to deal with that psychic input and to maintain control of their emotions, because Spock is like, it's very rude to put your emotions out there amongst a bunch of Vulcans because they didn't ask for that, but they can sense everything that's going on. So you
They
keep
didn't
it all
ask for
inside.
that.
Yeah.
You put it
It's-
here, and then one day you die.
And then one day you die.
Don't trauma dump on someone.
Bury the boy. So all this to say, we're getting to the big part.
Spicy. Let's go.
Spicy part. They there's a mission. They have to go down to a planet. There was another Starfleet crew that had gone to this planet to like basically just scout things out, and they haven't been heard from. They've missed like 3 check-ins.
Oh my God, they're dead.
I
They're
know.
dead.
So the USS Enterprise is sent to do basically like search and rescue, and they've landed on this planet. If you've ever seen the original Star Trek, or if you've ever seen like some of the movies, so every once in a while Spock just has like a random other outfit, and in this one he has like a leather jacket, and Kirk is just like trying not to
Daddy?
hyperventilate. Yes,
Okay.
he's like, okay, all right, it's fine, it's fine.
Vulcan daddy?
So he's trying to like concentrate, but Spock is in front of him in a leather jacket, like leading the way. And he's like, it's going to be fine. And then everything goes black. And he wakes up in a cell,
Oh.
and it's just him and Spock.
I thought you meant like the lights go down.
No.
No.
Gotcha.
He's in a cell with Spock.
Hot.
He's like, where is everybody? Spock's like, they're dead. They all died.
Sorry, the other group.
The rest of the people that they came down to do the search and rescue.
Okay,
with,
All
sorry,
the red shirts.
I was
all the
worried- I
red
was-
shirts are dead.
Yeah, I was worried like their whole team went down and goes, oh no, they're all dead.
No.
They're all dead.
The 2 people whose
all your
names we
favorite
know.
characters.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Sorry.
The 2 people whose names we know are still alive, per usual.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
This is Star Trek.
Yes.
I just thought, hey, this is fan fiction. Anything could happen.
Anything could happen.
Anything could happen.
So they're in this cell, and they open the door, and sure enough, it's a Romulan, because it's always a Romulan. And
Unless it's a Klingon.
unless it's a Klingon, but in this case, it's a Romulan.
No.
The later movies seem to really like the Romulans for whatever reason. That's like
Because they were like, the Klingons have had enough done to
that's
them.
what it is.
Done to them.
Yes, Klingon erasure.
And basically, they're trying to get information from Spock about the device that allowed Spock Prime to like warp time and whatever.
Uh-huh.
And Spock is like, I'm not going to give you any information. And they strap Kirk to this like helmet thing that gives him like these debilitating shocks like through his whole system. He feels like he's dying, and it's very much like the machine in Princess Bride, where it's like,
Yes.
I just sucked 1 year of your life
Yes,
away.
yes.
And they
yes,
keep
yes.
like raising the level, and Kirk is in more and more and more pain. And they're like, usually once humans reach level 4, their brains break. And Spock is very stoic, but also like clearly very, very angry. And when the 4th shock is coming, he puts his hand down next to Kirk's face on the table, and Kirk kind of instinctually like nuzzles into his hand, and he feels a moment of pain and then nothing. He doesn't feel anything.
Oh my God, the Vulcan took the pain.
He feels Spock kind of clench his fist, and like he sees his eyes go a little bit dark, but otherwise there's no reaction.
But Spock is half human, so what does that mean for his brain?
I don't know. We'll get into it.
I'm excited. I'm actually really into this.
I know
I
you
was
are.
like,
I'm
you
like-
are fully.
I know.
love it.
And I think
But what happens
I
next?
think it's also because I just watched the episode today, so I'm like in
You're
it.
in,
I'm
yeah,
like
you're in
it.
Star Trek world.
Yeah.
And so the Romulans are very surprised that Kirk did not react to this shock, and that moment of surprise is what Spock needs to grab the phaser from the guard over there and shoot that guy and knock them out and basically get them out of there. And Kirk basically passes out 30 seconds into that, so Spock literally saves his life, carries him, and gets beamed back up to the ship. He wakes up in the sick bay. Bones is hovering over him. Spock is behind, watching him very, very closely. Jim like asks for water, and Spock is the one that immediately goes and gets water and brings it to him and is like, drink this. Bones is like, and just shakes his head and leaves. It's like, come get me when you guys are done with whatever this is.
With whatever weird thing you guys are doing.
He's like, I'm just so over this.
I'm a doctor, not a matchmaker.
Exactly.
Too late. You're both right now.
And Jim is like, thank you for saving my life. And Spock is like horrified. He's like, you were tortured to get information out of me. I allowed you to get caught in a trap. And it's all very emotional and whatever. And he's like, he admits that he took Jim's pain from that last shock. And he's like, it was a logical solution, but also an emotional one. Mm-hmm. And Jim wants to kiss him really, really bad, but he doesn't.
Oh,
I know. For a couple weeks after that, Spock.
How far are we into this, by the way?
We're 3/4 of the way through.
Okay.
wow.
All right.
I'm moving fast.
Amazing restraint. I was really worried you were going to be like, we are like a third of the way.
No,
We're one chapter in.
I'm moving fast.
We are one chapter in.
He basically treats Spock refuses to spar with Kirk for like 3 weeks after that because he's injured.
Because he got hurt.
Kirk hates it. He's bouncing off of the walls. He was really upset by it. And Spock finally admits and goes, my logic in that moment was clouded by my emotions because I see us as really, really good friends and I care a lot about you. And I didn't act logically. And I'm really worried that my judgment is compromised. And Kirk like reassures him. But then in the back of his mind, he's like, oh no, if I bang Spock like I want to, it might hurt our friendship. And our friendship at this point is more important to me than having sexy times with a Vulcan that choked me.
And this is how you know it's fan fiction because Kirk would never. He would take the bone.
Yeah. He's a fuck boy.
He is a fuck boy. Spock then is like, okay, fine, I'll teach you like weapons combat. And Kirk thinks it's the hottest thing he's ever seen to watch Spock wielding this giant like staff with a blade at the end of it. It's the weapon that's in the Amok Time episode. Mm-hmm. And so it's like definitely like a competency kink times a million. And they basically bond. They continue to bond. They continue to get closer. And then we get to the fun part. Oh, another cute thing is Jim gets Spock a piece of chocolate to thank him for like saving his life. And he's like, I noticed that you like dessert. And Spock's like, yeah, thank you. You noticed that? And he's like, yeah, you're my first officer. I noticed things.
He's like, I'm going to cry now. Don't look at me.
I'm only imagining that it's like a brick from a Hershey's bar. Like just one.
Here.
Just like some of my chocolate bar. Unwrapped. Just like kind of melty.
Kirk finally beats the computer. So they're back to playing chess.
Great.
Computers are hard.
Chess with computers are really hard.
Like like Grandmaster made a joke. Like I played chess against my treadmill this morning. It gave me a hard time.
Yeah, I mean we're not going to get into it.
Chess is hard.
Chess is hard,
Chess is
especially
fucking hard.
against a computer that's far more logical than I am.
Or like your dad.
Or my dad.
My dad's good at chess too.
My dad, you know what? I never asked. I should ask. Anyway, they're playing chess. They're in Spock's quarters playing chess for the first time. And Jim is very aware of like, I'm on home turf. Like he's very affected by that. But he also notices that Spock seems very affected. Like his hands are like clenched behind his back when Jim enters. He's unusually quiet. Jim is trying to make conversation and he goes, I've heard that you've been giving the people in the science wing a hard time. Like I've heard you like kind of lecturing them and you've been working a lot. Like, are you okay? And Spock is like, I'm fine. I know how to run my team and my departments.
Kiss.
Mm-hmm. And it's a highly unusual level of emotion that Spock is displaying. And Jim is like, I can talk to them if you'd like. And Spock is like, you do not need to interfere in my life, in my affairs.
Don't talk to them.
And he sees that Spock's hands are shaking and he kind of instinctually goes to grab his hand and be like, are you okay? And Spock pulls away from him and the chessboard goes flying and it's very dramatic. And
Daddy's angry.
And then suddenly like Spock and then that happens. He just goes very still and he says, my meditation has been ineffective as of late. And he like gets up and says, I'm going to the sick bay. And right when he gets up and goes to the sick bay, there's an announcement, paging the captain. Romulans, 10 o'clock.
Of course. It's time for an 11th hour twist.
Yes. Kirk snaps into business and he's like, Spock, still go to the sick bay. Clearly something's wrong. I'm going to go deal with this. And it's like a ship, and they manage to get a shot off so that the ship leaves. And it's not, at the end of the day, a whole giant fight. It's not a huge deal. It's just kind of weird that the Romulans are hovering near them. And then as soon as that's all done, Bones comes into the bridge looking very like worried. And Kirk takes one look at him and goes, "We need to go to New Vulcan, don't we? It's time." And Bones is like, "Yes, it is time." And Kirk says, "Okay, let's do it. We need to like set a course for New Vulcan." Spock has been confined in his quarters, and Bones has like told Kirk not to get any funny ideas. Kirk's like, "What do you mean? I'm not going to do anything." He would. And Kirk has called Spock Prime to be like, "Hey, we're coming. Whatever is happening is happening. You guys won't tell me, but we're heading there." And Spock Prime's telling him like a little bit of just like, "Okay, just make sure that this is happening. Like this is happening." And then a blast hits the ship. And all the lights go out and comms go dark, and it's the Romulans back again.
Oh no, they're not going to make it to Vulcan in time.
And right before all of that happens, by the way, I just saw it in my notes, Jim says, "Help me help him. Tell me what to do. I love him." And Spock Prime opens his mouth to answer, and everything goes black.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Anyway.
You know it's a good fanfic when you're like, reminding yourself, "Oh, I need to be making commentary," and you're just like, "No, please,
there has been
tell me more."
There has been full episodes though where we're like, and I'm like trying to talk, but I'm like, I'm just really into it.
So
let me tell the story.
Truly,
it's fine.
Truly,
I have so many notes, you guys. Don't even worry about it. So Kirk gets in touch with Bones and is like, or gets in touch with Scotty, who, people that don't know Star Trek, is in charge of maintenance and the ship and making sure that everything, beam me up, Scotty.
The beam, yeah.
Just all the things. And Scotty's like, "Our comms are down, our warp, whatever is down."
Do you want to do a Scotty accent maybe?
No, I don't. Do you? You're the accent one.
No, you should be doing the Scottish accent one.
No, I can't do it. There's no way in hell I could do it.
I can't do
I'm trying to even summon what that sounds like in my head, and I can't do it.
Scotty. Nope.
Yeah, you see?
I know I can't.
That's why I can't
think
it.
of a Scottish one either. Oh boy.
So essentially what he learns though is like it's going to be like a week before the ship can warp, which means they're not getting to New Vulcan in time. It's just not happening. So then he calls Bones and he says, "Please tell me what's going on so that I can help. And tell me what you know." And Bones finally, after months of pressure, and sees what needs to happen and breaks and is like, "Okay, it's called Pon Farr. It's, quote, sort of a 7-year biological cycle that strips their logic, makes them beholden to their emotions, and courses adrenaline through their system, creating just this overload through their system that if it's not taken away in some way, they overload and they die. It kills them. It needs mental." He was like, "Spock wouldn't tell me much, but he told me it needs a mental and physical connection and psychic transference paired with physical exertion in order to burn the blood fever out." He says, quote, "There was some cryptic shit about marriage and ritual combat, but I don't really know. He wouldn't tell me anything else." Kirk is like, "All right, I got to try something." He orders the floor that Spock is on locked down and goes and finds their like weapons and that they've been training with and goes there because he's like,
I have a random question.
Yes.
Who's in charge if Spock is out and Kirk is out?
That's a good question.
O'Hara, I think.
That was my first
Uhura?
thought too, but I don't.
Oh no, isn't it Zulu?
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't remember the chain of command.
I don't either.
I think, okay, I feel like I remember from the movie,
it was Sulu.
the guy from Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle who
Okay,
plays
Zulu.
Zulu,
Yeah,
whose name I can't remember in real life.
Something.
Yeah. We were talking about.
I feel like he's the one that takes over, but so that's why I'm like, okay, if he's locking down
Someone's
this
in
floor,
charge.
yeah, sorry that it doesn't
No,
matter.
that's fair. Yeah, no, I really don't remember.
This is what I think about when I read. Who's going to be in charge?
Who's gonna be in charge of the ship?
Oh my God, what if the Romulans hit again?
Yeah, no, so everyone is just frantically trying to do repairs, and meanwhile, Kirk's off to do. And so picture it's all emergency power, so everything is bathed in red. And all of the doors are open except for Spock's door because it has like a special like medical lock, like quarantine lock on it that Kirk has to break open. And he goes inside and he's like, Bones told me something about ritual combat needs to happen, so I'm here. Let's fight. Have at it. And as he says that, he is tackled to the ground, like out into the hallway. He's tackled to the ground by Spock.
I can picture this happening.
And Spock is on top of him, his forearm pressing Jim's chest down, and he's like panting, and his eyes are just black, and it's just like an animal has taken over him. And Jim summons all the Vulcan that he knows and says the word for challenge and fight. And before he can even say anything more, Spock immediately swings on him, and Kirk is like, all right, I know what to do. Scrappy, I'm gonna fight him. And he's like, I need to burn out whatever this is. And it distantly occurs to him like they're just basically like beating the shit out of each other.
Sure.
And mostly Spock is beating the shit out of Kirk because he's half Vulcan, so he's also canonically very, very, very strong. And distantly, it kind of occurs to Jim as he's getting repeatedly punched that like Spock is probably going to kill him because clearly an animal has taken over.
Yeah.
Whoops. This is probably a fight to the death, but he thinks also this is better than waiting helplessly for Spock to go insane and die. So I at least I'm doing something to try to help him. This is what I prefer. At
In
least.
the name of love.
Yes, and he feels almost peaceful kind of when he realizes that. Like he just feels a wave of like, this is meant to happen. It's going to be okay. And then he's like, should it be weird that I'm feeling turned on right now?
A little bit
like
horny.
A little bit horny. Like my crush is on top of me, and yes, he's kicking the shit out of me, but like this is how it all began.
But also I can feel his body on top
I can
of
feel
me.
his body on top of me, and my boner is pressing into his boner. Oh my God. And he feels that Spock has gotten hard. And he's like, this is all him thinking. He's like, I'm an idiot. Marriage, physical exertion, psychic bonding. Oh my God, there's another way to do this.
Can I just say the way you looked at me where you're like, and my boner is touching his boner? Like the way you made eye contact with me.
Imagine that.
Like, is there something going on here? Do I need to?
No, just
I've
cracking me
tried,
up.
but she can't. She
Sadly.
can't do it.
Sadly.
And so Kirk in his Vulcan says, let me help you. I am here for you. Let me please you. I am for you. Like, and he's like, mate. Like, this is the word I think is mate. And there's like a purring sound, which is very Omegaverse, that like comes out of Spock. And he starts to touch Jim. And Jim feels then Spock's mind probing into his mind. And he feels the psychic connections of Pon Farr starting.
Okay.
And suddenly it's like this feedback loop of like his need and Spock's need. And all of it is melding in their brains. And like it's very intense almost immediately. And Jim is like, Spock is delirious and in heat. And so I got to keep my wits about me, but also this is everything I've ever wanted and I'm really excited about it. And he's just kind of encouraging him in Vulcan, and in the back of his head he's like, Uhura would be so proud of me. I'm using so many Vulcan words. Would be so proud of me.
Oh,
I love this version of Kirk, by the way. Like, it's so funny to me.
Yeah.
He's
sassy.
Chris Pine did a really good job making this just like a funny guy, but like,
Yeah.
oh no, he would be in charge.
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
I'm just going to I don't need to explicitly describe sex to you guys, but I am going to throw out several things that I loved about this sex scene.
Okay.
First of all, Spock's cock is green, obviously.
of course.
Because all the blood rushes.
Because the blood is green.
Oh.
It's also massive.
Okay, but
obviously. Just a massive green cock.
I don't want you to make eye contact with me when you say these
Massive.
I feel like most dicks aren't red though. Like
They're
like
pink, they're
blood.
flush. Or actually,
Yeah.
purple is a term I have heard used.
Yeah,
For
with-
like the tip.
Yeah. If there's a lot of edging going on, it can
yeah.
happen. Yeah. You didn't expect to learn things today, did you?
Okay, but is he edging Spock?
No, but Spock is is going through the blood fever.
Question. Do we think it's like a light green or like a dark green?
I think it's a light
I think
green.
it's a
Like a Kelly
I think
green?
it's a deep chlorophyll green.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
into that. Let's do that.
I'm hoping it's not like a forest green. I'm thinking more emerald, but definitely not lime.
I think it's just like I think it's a tinge.
I think it's jade green.
I think it's like a grass stain kind
I
of
have a little Buddha
Yeah,
over there in
that's what I was
jade. I,
thinking,
think it's
yeah.
going to be kind of that jade right there. That
Oh.
little Buddha.
I mean,
Yeah.
Kirk's into it. So
100%. Yeah.
Either
we're fine
way.
with that. Yeah. And it sounds like you would be
No,
fine with it?
I think I'd be scared, but then intrigued.
Okay. We'll take it.
And then excited, and then nervous, and then scared.
Second thing that
Just
I really
like the first time.
Famously, Vulcan psychic connection happens through fingertips and hands.
Okay.
So Spock opening Kirk up so that they can fuck is very pleasurable for them both because there's a lot of input happening through the fingers. It's really fun. There's a lot of like psychic communication. They fuck 4 times. Jim, but after the second time is like, you're gonna kill me. You can't be inside of me. So then we get some fraudage. We get some, some creative happening. And at the end of everything, Spock opens his eyes and asks Jim, like, are you okay in Vulcan? And Jim is so tired he can't even respond. But through the bond, he sends like his happiness and his joy and his contentment to be like, we're good. I promise it's okay. As soon as the 4th time ends, Jim feels the bond kind of shift and is like, Spock's out of it. And he hears Spock say, Captain? Oh no. And then he feels, because they're bonded now, he feels a wave of Spock's like true like horror and shame and fear because Jim is in front of him naked, bruised as fuck.
Oh, does he not know?
Because he kicked the shit out of him.
He knows what happened though.
He knows what happened, but he was in like basically like almost like an altered state.
Gotcha.
State
Yeah.
Yes, and
like,
now he's back in his
realizing
body.
it. Okay.
And Jim feels a moment of just the very intense shame, and before Spock's shields go down, basically, and he doesn't feel anything at all. And Jim is like, okay, like, we'll talk about this later. The ship is shut down. People need to know that like the captain is back. And so they go to the bridge, they handle business. But then once that's done, Bones takes one look at Jim and goes, both of you go to the sick bay right the fuck now. They're in the sick bay, and it's just Jim and Bones. Spock gets checked out and like leaves very, very quickly. And Bones is like, what happened? And Jim is like, I sexually assaulted my first officer.
Oh,
Like he wasn't in his right mind. The blood fever meant that he didn't really want this to happen, but I was there and I just showed up and I made it like I was just kind of around and like I pushed him to do this. Like I feel horrible. And then when it was all over, I felt this horrible shame and regret. And I feel awful and I don't know what to do. He's like, I'm going to remove myself as captain on grounds of assaulting my first officer. I can't continue to do this.
Aww.
And he goes back into his room and he calls Spock Prime to update him. And he says something similar. And Spock Prime looks really confused and goes, but you are soulmates. My captain and I were soulmates. What do you mean? and Kirk is like, and then Spock, and then as soon as he says that, because it's a fan fiction, Spock comes in looking horrified. And Kirk is like, I need to hang up. And Spock starts talking at the same time that Kirk is talking. And Spock says, given the crime committed, just give me a few days to make my report for Starfleet, and then I will immediately step down as first officer. At the same time, Jim is saying, because of what I did to you, I'm planning on stepping down as captain of Starfleet. I'm so sorry. And they both stop at the end of saying those two sentences and go, wait, what do you mean? And Jim is like, you didn't do anything wrong. And Spock's like, you didn't do anything wrong. And Spock is like, I attacked you. I beat you. I assaulted you. I committed unspeakable acts on your person.
No, speak them.
Yes, speak them.
Yes.
As Spock said, I forced you to psychically meld with me and feel the effects of my arousal, and then I used you repeatedly despite your physical distress. I am so ashamed. And Jim cuts him off and says, I knew about Pon Farr. I wanted to help you, and I've wanted you for so long that I thought it might work. I mean, you were totally out of your head and didn't realize it was me, and you don't want me, and I'm so sorry for what I did, Spock. I'm really, really sorry. Like, I let my feelings for you get in the way. And Spock gets really, really still and takes a step forward and says, when I attempted to kill you, you instead offer yourself to me as my mate. Is that true? And Kirk says, yes. And Spock takes another step forward and says, because you desired me as well. And Jim goes, yes. And
Yeah.
and like kind of closes his eyes and shudders, says the fanfic.
Oh.
And you think that looks at just yes. And Spock is super, super close to him now, eyes burning. And he says, Vulcans feel even deeper than many humans. And do you truly believe that I would be so overwhelmed by your feelings while mine burned that I wouldn't be able to deal with them? And if I had truly seen you as an enemy, I would have killed you. I wouldn't have mated with you. That's not how Pon Farr works. And Jim says, hot.
He just says hot.
My God, am I Jim?
And you are. And Spock smiles. And Spock says, I just need to make sure your feelings predate our bond. And Kirk says, yes, I think I've been in love for a long time. And Spock says, I see. I feel great affection for you, but I haven't examined it until very recently. And Kirk goes, yeah, you were jealous of me and Uhura. You were jealous of me and old you talking. You were jealous all the time of like, you wanted to play chess with me all the time. And Spock says, you have made your point. Please desist. And Jim breaks off still grinning. And he's like, so you don't want to break the soul bond? And Spock says, we could not break it if we tried, nor would I wish to. Aww. Awesome, Jim says.
Awesome.
I love you, Jim says. I know, says Spock.
Oh.
And then they make.
That's just Star Wars.
I know, but you had to do it.
I like it though.
And then they make out on the chessboard, and then they fill
Not
out
on the chessboard.
on the chessboard, just like they've always wanted to. And then later, at Spock's insistence, they fill out the fraternization paper and register their soul bond. And soon they have christened both of their rooms, and Jim has licked chocolate off of Spock's body. And sparring ends very differently now, but they're not sad about it.
Wow.
And that's the end of that. That's
Oh,
What a fun time.
Jesus. What a
was
roller
so-
coaster that was.
We've never done Star Trek before, and I think like neither of us grew up like the biggest Star Trek people. Like
Yeah.
it was just wasn't like a
it
huge
was my
thing for
dad's
us.
thing. growing up.
Yeah, and so because of that, I think it just never like clicked that I'm like, oh, that could be fun. You know what I mean?
It is such a classic dynamic, which I always love, which is the very stoic. It's Grumpy Sunshine a little bit,
Yes.
but it's more the very stoic person who's trying not to show their emotions, and the person
And the
who is
puppy.
determined
Yes.
to make the
I will
emotions
break you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so. I just found it so much fucking fun.
I thought that was so fun.
Yeah. And I thought it was a very good, like, that is how Pon Farr comes up a lot in those books.
Totally.
Yeah. What a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah.
I was taken.
I could tell.
I
I'm
was
glad you
fully
were.
like, what happened?
Same. We were both like, oh my God.
Oh my
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I sped through that, you guys.
No, you did.
Oh,
I
I
think that was
believe it.
perfect. That was great.
And
No, that was
then-
a whole saga.
Thank you. And then the only, like, quote unquote game I have is just a question.
We're doing questions now. Let's be honest.
We're just doing
It's been
questions
a couple
now.
seasons. We just do questions.
Yeah. What is sexier, your crush teaching you chess or your crush teaching you hand-to-hand combat?
Hand-to-hand combat.
I think chess.
Yeah, no, it's hand-to-hand combat. It's
Yeah?
gotta be.
I want to be touched. That's not the right way to say that though. Like I think in the same way of Spot or of Kirk being like, oh, and we'll get close to each other and
Yeah.
like, and you can kind of like tease each other.
No,
and like,
like,
blah, blah, blah. Yeah,
a fist fight is very.
it's intimate.
My wife and I watched Daredevil. This is a while ago.
The
but
show or the movie?
show.
Yeah.
And well, both, but just as a point of contrast to be like, see how worse it could be, so much worse
Yeah.
it could be. But like that the fight. The fist fight that him and the Punisher have,
Yes.
like on the ship. We're just watching, and apropos of nothing, she goes, "There's something a little gay about a fist fight, isn't there?"
A little bit.
Man, I wish your wife was here too.
God,
She
I
sounds
should have
great.
brought her. No, she's great.
We
Next
should be
time-
friends.
next time, bring
Yeah.
next
I'll bring
Yeah.
her.
Yeah, come back on.
She can come with her own episode. Like,
Yeah.
she can
Oh
come
my
with-
God. We could do a little Wait, that was not what I
Don't say that.
No, just embrace it.
Yeah. A four-way podcast.
But I also like in other movies where there's training montages or something, like I enjoy the idea of like becoming stronger and like more like confident in your fighting abilities or
Yeah.
things like being able to protect yourself.
Very
And
Court
I
of Silver
think-
Flames.
Yeah. And I feel like
Totally.
that's kind of sexy and like I'm helping you. If I am in the other position of like, I am training you, like I'm helping you achieve that.
Yeah.
Kind of. So I think instantly I was just like, oh, hand-to-hand combat,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
is sexier in
100%.
my opinion.
And
Yeah.
then on the flip side, at least for me, like as someone who's played a lot of chess, like I don't think of the person teaching me chess as like someone that I'm flirting with. I
Right.
think of them as someone that I fucking hate
honestly,
and
I
want
totally
to
get that.
destroy.
I think I
totally
have.
get
I think
that.
I have the opposite. Like if I was fighting someone physically, it would be a lot harder for me to find them sexy. I would just want to hurt them. Versus chess would give me a little bit more distance.
Sure.
And that's why I think, because I like a banter. I like a verbal, more of a verbal kind of a situation.
I'm so competitive. If you put any kind of like distance between me, it's just going to be rage.
I understand.
But if it's like we're wrestling and there's skin to skin contact, things are getting like hot and flushed and like
And
everything is.
I think it's a different type of vulnerability too, because like my also immediate thought was like, if I didn't know, I mean, it's been years since I've played chess. I don't really remember how to do it fully, but like if there's someone I really have a huge crush on in front of me and it's like under the guise of him like teaching me how to play chess, like I'm gonna be a little worried that I look like an idiot.
I get that, yeah.
And I don't
it's
like
that and it's like it's one teaching someone chess, teaching someone anything is like there's like one notch too far where it's like now you're mansplaining and that is very unsexy.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Also, like, what are you gonna do? Like Patrick Swayze Ghost, like reach over? No, let me show you how the knight moves.
No. Eye contact across the chessboard, babes.
I do think you can talk more during chess too. Like that is a personality.
They had a whole conversation
Yes.
with Kirk in a headlock. Like,
That's
come
true.
on,
That's fair.
That's true.
That's
That's
fair.
how I would want to do it.
Right?
I'd be like, "You're getting old man," and then sweep the leg, and then but I'm pinned to the ground. Oh no, I need help up.
Why haven't you filled out your paperwork?
I am single, everybody.
I've never quibbled. If it was ribbled, I would devour where others merely nibbled, as the judge remarked the day that he acquitted my Aunt Hortense.
So
To be
I
smart, it must be us.
do the Kindle Unlimited. I do the books. She does fan fiction. I do the books. And I was like, you know what? There isn't really an equivalent unless I'm doing like a canon Star Trek book. Mm-hmm. And since we were already going to do a Star Trek fan fiction, I was like, I don't want to do that. We're going to try and find like the equivalent to Mate or Die.
This
much.
does feel like it's edging closer and closer to Omegaverse.
So we did the Omegaverse is what we did.
No.
I did try, but there are some Omegaverses where it's like everything's fine, I'm just sad, and there's others that go further into it. I also did look at a lot of sci-fi stuff, and
I think my immediate thought was like, what about like a sex pollen kind of a thing?
Yeah, and we looked at it, and it seemed like when we looked at the mechanics of like sex pollen versus like a mate or die from not bonding in the Omegaverse. Mm-hmm. We decided, because I talked to you about it too. I was like, I think we decided on Omegaverse was just more closer to the true meaning
of the Pon Farr.
The spirit, thank you, spirit of the Pon Farr. And there was a couple alien ones that I looked up, but it wasn't like mate or die. It was like you get to go home after, and I was like, well, that's not fun. I need higher stakes.
Yeah.
And so yes, I picked an Omegaverse one. I picked The Rejected Omega by Sara Sellers, and it is 222 pages, which is quite short for a book that I usually
frankly,
do.
I was going to say that sounds restrained.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She knew that I was going to throw a lot at the wall.
Yeah. So I gave myself an easier week, I guess. I don't know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Love it.
I don't know if it would be easier though, because I have to like maneuver it into Pon Farr, but like I think I did it okay. I think you did a great job. Alana, or Lana, she goes by either.
Cool.
Is lined up with other Omegas in the clearing in the woods while the community elders are setting up the mating ceremony.
Ooh.
Okay.
She's 18. She's of age. She is now eligible to participate in a mating ceremony. What happens is there's a big clearing in the woods. The alphas are whoever is participating. You don't have to if you don't want to. You kind of like sign up for it. The alphas are lined up across the clearing on one side, and they each donate a piece of clothing that they've put their scent on. Mm-hmm. Some people can kind of just wear it to bed and sweat in it. Other people jerk off into the t-shirt. It's a whole thing.
Of course they do.
Personal preference.
And they donate a piece of clothing, and the Omegas do the same thing. They are just wipe it on their glands, and all the pieces of clothing are set up on a table in front of the opposite party. So the alphas' clothes are set up in front of the Omegas, vice versa. And one by one, the people will go down the line and scent each piece of clothing. And if it's a scent match, like immediately, and your omega awakens, and then you go and be with your scent match, and that's what's supposed to happen.
Okay.
If nothing happens, nothing happens. You wait till the next ceremony when somebody else comes in. Yada yada yada.
And just in case someone has somehow gotten to this episode without hearing what Omegaverse was,
Sorry, you're right. That was so silly. I should have said that.
Alphas are usually kind of big, burly, the ones who are taking control of the situation.
Yeah.
Banging.
If you want to put it, they're more dom.
They're more dom.
Yeah.
The Omegas are usually ones being mated, a little bit more sub, and a little bit more, I would say, correct me if I'm wrong, like more of a biologically affected group compared to the alphas when it comes to...
Yes, it depends on what you're reading, because alphas go into ruts.
Yes.
Omegas...
But sometimes they don't.
Yes, omegas, canonically, maybe, I guess we're going to say, it can go into heats a lot more often.
Yeah.
Ruts usually is what I've read. It's more like twice a year, maybe.
Yeah.
Heats is like once a quarter, kind of, is what is like the basis. But it changes from book to book. Omegas are usually daintier, I want to say, a little more like fragile, if you will, but it's not. It just is how it's like the stature. It can be man or woman. It doesn't matter. I think in a lot of just like heteronormative books, though, the alpha is usually a guy and omega is a girl.
Yes.
And nodding is a thing. Do you know the Omegaverse? I guess I should have asked you. I feel so stupid. I'm so sorry.
I know tragically enough about the Omegaverse.
Okay.
What do you mean tragically? How dare you?
Most of our listeners then.
Yeah.
forced
So
into
my
this.
introduction to the Omegaverse was the Lindsay Ellis video about the Addison Kane lawsuits. Which I recommend that you look up, seeing the look on your face.
Do I know
because
what this
it's
is?
wild. So Addison Kane is
remember.
a Omegaverse writer who pioneered Het in Omegaverse
This sounds
and
kind of familiar
started
now.
suing people who
Oh yeah,
also
yeah.
wrote derivative work, which is wild because all of her work is wildly derivative.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Omegaverse is already like
for the
a
people.
creation of
Wildly derivative,
fan fiction.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a fan fiction
Yeah.
thing. So like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But yeah, she was making original work that was only happened to have incredibly similar Dark Knight Rises vibes.
So you know what nodding is.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's like all tied into wolf pseudoscience
Which is now defunct.
Yeah.
Yep.
But and as I understand it, there's also a third category, which is betas, which is just like normal people.
Yeah, they're just there. There are some
That
betas in this, but not really.
Almost never actually factor into the stories.
If you go on, sorry.
Well, no, just the fandom origins are like a combination of Star Trek Pon Farr and supernatural werewolf fan fiction, and those
which is kind of
my
nice.
baby.
It ties into Pon Farr a little bit.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
If you're a listener who has no idea what we're talking about, go back to our Omegaverse episode.
Yes.
because I'm not going to say any more about it.
we get into it.
We did a whole
extensively.
episode on
yes.
it. So sorry about that. I'm glad to thank you for stopping me. So we
I
can
got
clear
you.
that up. So if the scent triggers a scent match, it awakens them and they mate. Lana doesn't really want to be there, as she has been in love with her best friend Connor, who is an alpha, for forever. Connor only dates betas and is currently dating a beta named Cassandra, but in his words, it's just a fling. Connor promised her that he would be at that ceremony since they're now both of age, but she's realizing very quickly that he is not there.
Ooh, don't like that.
Yep, she's looking across the clearing. She's like, he's not there. This is so weird. He said he would be here, like whatever. As the minutes go by, the elders are like, okay, we're going to start. And she's like, are you sure everyone's here? And she's like, yeah, I think so. Yeah, no, I don't think we can wait any longer. And so she's like really upset. And she's like, okay, like, you know what, whatever. It's going to be fine.
I mean, he's been kind of a shitty friend by not showing up.
Correct.
That's
100%.
She texts him, nothing.
Ugh.
No response. And this is like her best friend of like, since she moved to this area, she's a foster kid. She'll kind of get more into this like later in the book, but like, I want to say it was like 6th or 7th. It was middle school. She moved in.
Yeah.
And he immediately friended her and they're like best friends.
Okay. So this is a big deal.
Big deal. The ceremony starts and she goes last, going down the line, sniffing the clothes when, a couple pieces of clothing down. Oh, and as she's doing it, she's like, fucking hot garbage, fucking like a shitty diaper. Like these are what the
Yeah,
smells
really bad.
smells that are not for you smell like shit.
Yeah.
Is what I have determined from
Yeah,
this
it's
book,
like
which I think
it's
is
like
funny.
when you're doing a wine tasting, like
Yeah.
you're like, dirty diaper, but that's like desirable.
Correct.
Right,
Yeah. Correct. And so she sees a couple shirts down. She's like, that's Connor's shirt. She like knows that shirt. She's seen him wear that before. She looks up. He's still not here. This is weird. And so, and the elder's like, go on, keep sniffing. Go on.
Keep sniffing.
And with dread, as she picks up the last shirt, she picks up Connor's shirt, and immediately her Omega awakens. Connor is her scent match. This is it. She is like, he is my alpha. He is meant to be mine. Oh my gosh, this is great.
And has she's been hoping for this.
She didn't want to hope. She really wanted him there just for like support.
Okay.
But like, she's been in love with this man forever. She had to find out either way if they were going to be scent matched.
Okay.
Might as well get it over with. How great is it that they're scent matched right now though?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So an elder,
But then.
and like one or two other people scent matched at that ceremony. Everyone else is kind of just like, shucks, see you in a month. Like,
Yeah.
An elder ushers her into a tent, an awaiting tent, and is like, don't worry, your alpha is coming soon, while Lana is just like starting to unravel. Like because her Omega has been awakened, she is now going into a heat.
Okay.
Like, oh God, I gotta fuck him.
Yes. And she just keeps sniffing the shirt. She's kind of like sitting there, like rocking back and forth, like it's gonna be okay.
Girl,
like
me too.
while her fever starts to come on, her body is starting to like ache and sweat. And it's like, oh my God, this is what it feels like. This is the worst. Been there, done that. Her heat is starting. Elders are rushing around trying to find out where Connor is, who is clearly not there. She can hear them outside the tent being like, I have an unscented Omega in here. Where the fuck is the alpha?
I kind of love that there's infrastructure around this though.
Yeah,
Like I really
like,
do.
The support structure is insane.
And this is all modern times. Like they're in high school, they live in houses. Like they're just also in this woodsy clearing in tents, which I kind of like too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like the older elder Omega woman is like, where the fuck is her alpha? Who the fuck did this? And I'm like, yeah,
Yes.
good job. And she knows, she's like, this isn't right. This heat is not supposed to feel like this. It's already starting to turn. Something is wrong.
As in, it's like too intense.
Yes, and and she's not getting the relief that you would get if the alpha was physically in your presence. Not even doing anything, just there.
Yeah.
So she overhears the elders outside panicking because she's now going into a rapid heat with a nearly full strength bond, meaning they had asked her, they're like, do you know who belongs to this shirt? And she's like, yes. And they're like, oh, that means like even before you awakened, you've known this person and bonded with them.
Okay.
So you are like
She's
fully
right
together. Yeah.
Right there, right away.
She's right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's starting to sweat way too much and panic. His dad, Mac Masters, this is Connor Masters and Mac Masters.
That's a great name.
His dad, Mac, is there and he's trying to call Connor and she can hear him. And she knows, oh, you know what? Connor sometimes screens his calls from his dad. I'm going to try calling him. She starts trying to call him and like 3 times goes straight to voicemail. He then sends her a text saying, he goes, hey, I'm so sorry. I talked to Cassandra and she said she felt weird about me going to the ceremony. And I think this might be more than a fling this time.
I'm really trying not to be mean about Connor right now, but I'm not.
You can be mean.
I'm not
No,
feeling
fuck
great
him.
about Connor. No. Because it's also, if you're not going to go, it's really fucked up to leave your shirt in the mix.
Well, we find out, we think what we have context clues. We never really like say it, but we believe that he told his dad, Mac, that he was going. So Mac went, I'll take a shirt for you. So it's kind of Mac's fault
It's
a little
like a
bit.
miscommunication.
It's a miscommunication.
Ugh.
So it's no one and everyone's fault.
Right.
So
Hate it.
he sends her that message and she immediately
hate him.
Hate all of
Moving
it.
on.
I want to leave. You know what? Let's just end this now. He doesn't know. He has no idea what's just happened. He has no idea that Lana is his Omega. And she tries to leave a voicemail and the mailbox is full. So she cannot leave. No one can leave him voicemails. The text he is getting, presumably from his dad and from her, are like, where are you? I need you. Where are you? What's going on? You need to be here.
Yeah.
And he's not answering them. Her breath is coming in short bursts. She's now sobbing. She can feel her bond starting to snap, like her soul bond.
Oh.
Going through a heat alone is brutal, but a first heat with a strong bond has never been heard of, like going through it alone. She overhears the elders saying that they need to find her a surrogate alpha immediately to get her through this heat. And her immediate thought is like, well, fuck no.
Yeah.
I don't want, and she's a virgin. She's like, my first time with a random guy I don't know when I'm mindless and like, and I know who my alpha is and it's not this.
And
like,
he's going to smell like a dirty diaper probably.
and I'm going to have sex with a dirty diaper.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Don't use that as a TikTok.
He's gonna use it as a
Clip
TikTok.
Don't clip it. And she's thinking about sending Connor a full text rather than just get here, please, hurry.
Yeah.
She's thinking about sending him a full text explaining what happened, but then she rereads the message he sent her saying that it's more than a fling with Cassandra. And she realizes she doesn't want him to pick her out of obligation, which I kind of get. I hate that trope. It's something I've read a lot, but I understand it.
Yeah.
But also that's a trust thing because it's like, well, you know what? If your Omega like recognizes him as an alpha, wouldn't you trust and like you love him no matter what? Wouldn't you trust that he would feel the same way? But also, men are awful. No offense.
Yeah.
None taken. No, but as I'm thinking about it, like just like the way that this is built up, isn't it a little fucked up that she asked him to be there in the first place if he's dating someone?
Yeah, but he
downplayed it.
He downplayed it. Yeah, he was like, "Of course I'll be there for you," because like, and it's like not. No one thinks they're gonna scent match at the mating ceremony. If it happens, it's great.
Sure,
you got to figure out if you're gonna do it anyways. But I feel like, because it was also up to her knowledge, every girl he's ever been with has been a beta and just a fling. So it shouldn't have mattered to him. Like it was like, oh, it's just a fling. She won't care. I don't care. We're not serious.
Yeah.
And then Cassandra, upon hearing that Connor was going to go to the mating ceremony, was like, actually, let's be a little more serious. And he was like, maybe I think that is okay. Yes.
Yeah. And then he abandoned his friend since middle school.
Correct.
Cool.
Does that make sense?
It does. It does. I think it reflects poorly on both of them.
I agree. Yeah.
That's fair.
Oh, listen, I'm not saying
they deserve each other is what I'm saying.
So she doesn't want him to pick her out of obligation. She recognizes that she's starting to go into bond sickness, which has a very high fatality rate. It's either very fast from a shock to the system that a severed bond creates. So yeah, the bond severs, it's a shock and you just immediately die. Or it's very slow and the person loses the will to live.
Oh,
so that's
so it's like a depression or a heart attack. Those are your two options.
And those are like the two ways you could die. It's a high fatality rate. Doesn't mean you will, but it's like those are the most common ways you could die from bond sickness.
Oy.
So leaving her phone in the tent, she sneaks out the back of the tent and runs into the woods, just running, ends up miles away in a mossy clearing and goes through her first heat alone. And it is agonizing. She is alone. She's trying to find relief from her fingers. It is not working. She's like practically naked because she's in this crazy heat. She's so hot. She's ripped her clothes off. She's in this dark forest alone. She's writhing around on the floor, on the forest floor. There's cuts, there's bruises.
Yeah.
It's not pretty. It's bad.
You know, I've been through puberty.
She's, yeah, you're right. You're right, buddy. She spends 3 days like this.
Oy.
No food, water, just
her in the woods,
edging herself.
Oh.
And when the heat clears,
I've been through puberty.
You've been through the puberty.
We've all been there.
We've all done a
You're not
3-day edging.
special.
It's fine. And she spends 3 days, and when the heat clears, she can't move. She's almost dead.
Yeah, probably exhausted.
Mac
Dehydrated,
Masters,
at the very least.
Connor's dad, Mac Masters, finds her. He's been looking for days for this girl because he's known her since she was a kid. Like this is his son's best friend. He finds her. He gets her to the hospital, but she makes him promise that he won't tell Connor what happened. She's like, it's like almost a dying breath of like, don't tell him. And he's like, okay. Then we go back. We learn about how they met. She was placed in a foster home in middle school, and he befriended her. They're best friends. He shuts down them ever turning into something more. They've like talked on the phone before, and she's like, "Do you ever think we'll end up together?" And he's like, "I would never jeopardize our friendship like that." And it's like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
She wakes up in a private Omega medical hospital an hour away. She was taken to the ER originally, but they transferred her there for acute bond sickness. And she also had severe dehydration, hypothermia, and extensive contusions and abrasions. She was very close to death.
So this is very much what would happen if we're going back to Pon Farr. If you didn't do the fight to the death and you didn't find like your mate.
Yes.
This is what might happen.
If Kirk was just like, oh, just leave
Stay
him
in your
there.
room.
That's what would happen.
If by some miracle Spock was strong enough to get through it, then yes.
Yeah.
But so she didn't die, but she was so close.
clothes ripped off in
Yes.
his room, beating off into the trash can.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. And so she
that.
learns, she's very close to death. She learns if something like this were to happen again, like if she was to be rejected again, I mean, he didn't recognize her, but he didn't know.
Yeah.
But like she was basically
But the
rejected.
body doesn't know.
There would
The
be-
body feels rejected.
She will die. She will die if this rejection happens again. Mac visits her in the hospital. He tells her that he's taking care of all the hospital bills because it's the least he can do since his idiot son didn't go to the ceremony. And he like says it like that. And I'm like, good job, Mac.
Great.
Masters.
There's one decent person, I guess.
Again,
thanks, Dad.
commenting on the infrastructure, there is a specialized Omega hospital. They brought this girl in, like, this girl went through heat alone, and they were like, my God.
Yes. I
100%.
love that.
That's how serious it is.
That's one of my favorite things about the Omegaverse is every single author has their own little specific like piece of lore of like how the society is handling this thing or not handling this thing. And yeah, I love this is a very short book,
Yes.
but they have built a world around the Omegaverse. And
I love
do-
it.
I do love it. Yeah.
Points for originality. For
Yes.
Yeah. And it's also not a shifter one too, which I like. It's just
It's just people,
I
yeah.
love shifter Omegaverse. I love people Omegaverse too. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's like how would we as a society just like build like
How would we
around
have,
it?
Yeah. How would we have just adjusted our lives to this? Yeah.
She again makes him swear not to tell Connor. And he reluctantly agrees because she's like, it's the least you can do.
Yeah.
And he's like, fine. So she stays at home all week, recuperating and avoiding Connor. Connor tries to go. He keeps trying to text her. He keeps trying to go to her house. And she's ignoring him. My windows are open, so we're about to hear some sirens. That's okay. We'll just go through it. When she goes back to school a week later, she immediately starts to scent because she sees Connor for the first time. She can smell him even from across the cafeteria because they're seniors in high school.
Yeah.
And she immediately leaves. She's running out the door and she calls Mac and she's like, I need help. And he takes her back to that Omega hospital to Dr. Kanata, who is a specialist in the Omega field.
Cool.
Is he
And-
an Omega or is he?
She
Women can
No,
be
you're
doctors too, Wells.
No, that
That's
was my bad.
one.
Yep.
Wow.
That's one.
That's one. She says, I'm just kidding.
When you hit 3, you have to leave.
Yeah, that's my rule in my house, by the way.
It's a lovely home.
So the doctor, thank you. So the doctor says that there are 2 courses that they can take, and the doctor has been filled in on what happened and how Lana does not want Connor to know that he is her alpha, and that she doesn't want him to know. Like she doesn't want anything to do with him.
Yeah.
She just wants to live. She just wants to get through this.
Yeah.
So the first course is to let biology take its course, and once her suppressants run out, he'll recognize her as his mate and they'll get it on.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't want that. And the second one is get an extremely high dose of suppressants for the rest of high school / like while she's in proximity to her alpha.
Yeah.
They're like halfway through the second semester. Like they've got, it's not too much time. And she's like, where are you going to college? She's like, anywhere that'll take me. She's poor. She's a foster kid. He's going across the country.
Right.
So she's like, I just got to make it to the end of high school. And she has to, she goes, if you take the high dose suppressants, you do have to come off of them every 6 months for a heat. If not, the suppressants can build up toxic levels and lead to a bunch of side effects. So like migraines, your organs shutting down.
Just that?
Stomach aches, you know,
Right.
random shit. And
Honestly, sounds like a completely normal side effect list for like any female birth control I've ever heard.
True.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she, the doc is like, also like your mental health is just as important. And so if you want she's like, I don't recommend the high dose because that can be really dangerous. But like, if that's what you need to get through what just happened to you, like fucking go for it.
Good
Which
doctor.
Which I was like, I was going to say, love that.
Yeah, good. This coming from again, I'm from the South, and like my wife has had endometriosis for years and years and
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
And like
That's rough.
the process of trying to convince a doctor to do anything.
Yeah.
Like I'm starting to hear what weirdly, and maybe it's just this one book, or maybe it's a trait of the entire thing, but I'm like, I think maybe part of the reason people like this is just like the medical infrastructure there takes your pain seriously.
Yeah,
as like,
because
no,
it
this
happens
is
to
deadly.
men.
So,
Because it can happen to men or women, which I think is a terrible thing to say, and that's why we would take it seriously at that point. But yeah,
Yeah. In this
no,
world.
that's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, but yeah, it's this perfect fantasy world where people go, oh, there's this horrible medical thing that's going to happen to you. Let's try to do something about it.
we're
not-
going to set up an infrastructure. We're going to take you seriously.
I mean,
Right.
there's still really high prices, but Mac's going to take care of it. Mac's
Yeah.
taking care of it. She goes, yes, I'll take the high doses, and Mac's like, I will pay for this. Yes. She goes back to school, and after a week on the suppressants, and she's like, this is great. I have no scent. I feel nothing. Everything's great. And Connor finally corners her outside the gym and is like, why won't you talk to me? And she basically like, it kind of goes back and forth. She just keeps saying like, you really fucked up. Like you told me you were going to be there for me. I've been your best friend for forever. And you left me for someone who you said was a fling, even though like, it's great that it's more now, but like you ghosted me. And, and she's like, I really needed you there. And he's like, I'm sorry. Like I didn't realize it was that serious. And she's like, I just thought I was different. Like, you know, maybe you treat all the betas like this, but like, I thought I was different. And so they basically like, she's like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. We're done.
I feel bad for her, but also she is very naive and immature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She finishes.
which is maybe the thing that I, not to comment on the whole
go ahead.
Omegaverse
Go ahead.
again, but like one of the things I maybe don't like is because I think there's a really toxic theory idea that gets thrown around that like the first person you love you have to love forever,
Right.
and it's like and enshrining that into biology just feels so bad to me because it's so wrong and evil and bad.
I do think it's also like, it seems like, and it's again, she kind of says it's a lot of context clues though of like, listen, I have an unrequited love for this man, but at least we're best friends. Like at least we are like so close. We eat lunch together every day. We see each other every day. We hang out. Like, yeah, we have other friends, but like we are the best friends.
Sure.
And I think she was kind of trying to go for more of that angle of like, you drop shit for your friend. You don't go to your fucking side chick's house.
Sure.
Like if I say I needed you. I needed you there, even as a friend.
But it does take on like a level of manipulation when you have this whole other backstory thing going on.
Which he doesn't know anything about them.
Yeah.
So it's a little complex. It's a little like, there's a lot of layers here. So I'm like, I can kind of see it, but I'm also annoyed, but I can kind of see it, but I'm
That's
also
where
annoyed.
I'm at. I'm
100%.
annoyed, but I see it.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, okay, 18-year-old in high school.
Yep.
Fine.
First, and she went through a traumatic experience too. Like we also have to remember that this was like so traumatic physically and mentally.
Yeah.
So she's just like, can't see this man anymore. We're done. I would rather be alone.
So she says she doesn't want to be his friend anymore.
She's basically like, we're done. Like you fucked up.
Wow.
Yeah. So
okay.
she finishes high school and they go to separate colleges. End of book. No, I'm kidding.
No.
3 years later.
I looked over and saw 3 years later earlier and I was like, oh my God.
Don't you look at my notes. 3 years later. Lana's advisor. She's in a college. She's in a very good college that's close to home.
Yeah.
She still talks to Mac all the time. Anytime Connor comes home for anything, though, she's like, tell him I'm out of town. Like, I won't go to our spots. I don't want to see him. I don't want anything to do with him.
Yeah.
And Connor we learn this later, but Connor will ask Mac, he's like, have you seen Lana? And he's like, no, I don't talk to her anymore. Even though they're like best friends. Mac and Lana. 3 years later, Lana's advisor asks her to tutor an incoming transfer student to make sure that they're up to date with work. She says yes because she needs a recommendation letter for grad school.
Okay.
Lana works 2 jobs because and she's doing all this extra work at school. She doesn't have a ton of money. She lives in this really tiny studio, but she is also buying extra suppressants off the black market. She's been doing it for 3 years to keep her heats at bay, and she has not had one since the claiming ceremony.
Oh, no.
She's not had it. And if you remember, the doctor was like, you have to come off of them every 6 months to have a heat.
Yeah, it's bad.
And she's like, sounds good. Hasn't had one in 3 years.
Not gonna do that shit.
Yeah, she doesn't look well. She looks incredibly sick, but she's like managing. And everyone kind of thinks it's because she's working herself a lot, and she's like, no, she's like kind of killing herself a little bit.
It's the PTSD.
She runs
PTSD.
Hey, D's nuts. She runs into the study room.
Good job.
Thank you. And she's like, looking through her bag as she's running in, and she immediately smells alpha pheromones. And is like, great, the guy has to tutor as an alpha. And then she hears his voice, and it's Connor. Connor has transferred Connor has transferred colleges.
Connor, no.
Yes, he says he's switching.
Harper, no.
Harper?
Piper.
No. Yeah.
Piper.
No. There it was.
Yeah. Piper,
Tsunami.
no. Yeah.
I was trying to think of the other thing she says.
Tsunami.
Connor says that he's switching to a pre-med, and this university has the best program, and he's going to go work with one Dr. Kanata. He goes, do you know her? And she goes, no.
No.
They haven't seen each other in 3 years. She starts to panic because he's now so close. She's in this closed room with his scent, and he offers to get another. He sees her panicking. He actually talks her through a panic attack. She like kind of goes. She's like freaking out, and he's like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And he's like, "I'll get another tutor." And she's like, "Well, no, I don't want to jeopardize my letter of recommendation, so I'll suck it up." And they're gonna meet once a week.
Okay.
The next session, she shows up and she is clearly exhausted. And he's worried about her. He's like, have you eaten? Are you okay? And she's like, I'm fine. He's like, you don't look fine.
Yeah.
And she's like, go fuck yourself. And he's like, do you want to? He's like, I'm honestly kind of caught up. Like, I know what I have to do this week. Do you want to just take a nap? Do you need to just like lay down? And she's like, no, I'm completely fine. And then she just like immediately falls asleep.
Yeah.
And he like kind of just sits next to her reading, and it's just like there for her.
I'm a sucker for that. And that was in the last story I did with the time travel.
Yes.
Fic.
Yeah. And
is it bad that I'm mad that I've done that in one of my comics? Just like that exact thing.
No, I like
it's a
it.
very sweet,
it's taking care
type
of somebody.
scene. Yeah.
I love that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And she wakes up and she's embarrassed, but she's like, my God, I slept so well because he's next to me, because I'm physically next to my alpha. And he still has no idea. The next session, an alpha, they get into the study room, and all of a sudden there's a knock on the door, and another alpha named Lance, who Lana is friends with, brings her lunch. And since she's skipping it to tutor him, and Connor immediately is like, who the fuck is that? Don't you? And he had brought her a chocolate muffin, and she's like, I want your fucking sad ass muffin. Like, no. And this guy brings her lunch, and he goes, if you need to eat, I will provide food for you. You do not eat this fuckface Lance's food.
Wow. So many feelings.
And it's like this whole fight. He's like, he won't let her go to the door. He's like, if you go to the door, you have to eat my apology muffin. And she's like, fuck your apology muffin.
Fuck your apology
And he's like,
muffin.
I'm not. And he's like physically stronger. And he's like, I'm not opening the door until you do. And she's like, fine. And Lance, they give her the food, and she opens it, and there's like mushrooms on it, and there's cheese, and there's all this stuff. And he goes, you're lactose intolerant. You don't like mushrooms. The fuck is this guy giving you? He's like, don't eat it. And she's like, I don't want to waste food. And he's like, have the muffin. It's like a whole thing. It's actually kind of funny.
It's cute.
But it's like, he doesn't realize that he's her alpha and trying to care for her. It's like a whole thing.
Yeah, his body and brain are also doing things, but because he didn't show up, he doesn't know,
And
right?
also she's on suppressants, so like the effect
Correct.
is very distant, and he's like,
Correct.
well, I feel this way, but it's not strong, but I am gonna make I'm gonna puff out my chest.
Yeah.
He basically
strong
gets
man.
very territorial.
Yeah.
And his scent becomes heavier, and she's like, I need to get out of here. Lana,
I gotta go to the hot tub.
Yeah. The next week, Lana takes the last of her scheduled suppressants, not her black market ones.
Yeah.
Prescribed. That's the one I'm looking for. I'm having a fucking stroke as I'm talking.
You're doing great.
Thank you. And she's worrying. She's like, fuck, I got to buy more black market suppressants. I'll have to wait. And today's the last one. It's hopefully this will be okay today. And so they go to the tutoring session, and then it starts pouring rain. They walk out of the tutoring session together, and she falls, spilling her purse everywhere. As he's helping her in the pouring rain get all her shit off the ground, he's like, what is this? Sees the empty bottle of suppressants. And he is pre-med. He's very interested in biology. He like knows a lot about it already. And he's like, wait, you're awakened? Like, you're taking suppressants. That means your omega was awakened.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, who? And he's mad. And she's like, he's not around. The alpha's not around. He died. He actually died, and I haven't had a heat in 3 years.
Just say it, girl.
My
Just
God.
say
I know
it.
this is like one of my least favorite ones, where it's like, if you just said something, everything would be better.
Yes.
It's also I do have to interject on her part where it's
Yeah.
like, You don't have a right to ask her that.
Yeah,
fuck
you have
face.
no
That's
right. You
fair,
have no
that's fair.
right.
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
he basically gets it out of her that she hasn't had a heat for 3 years, and he's like, that is so dangerous. How are you doing this? I'm gonna take you to the doctor I'm working with, Dr. Kanata, right now. And she's like, okay. And he's just like, he's so viscerally angry because he's like, you could have died. Like
Yeah.
what? He's trying to get more about the alpha, and he's like, oh my god, this was that mating ceremony that I missed. Like I knew something happened. I'm so sorry. He's like profusely apologizing. She's like, I don't want to fucking talk to you. They go to the doctor, and the doctor's like, okay, well, you finish your prescribed meds, and you're not supposed to get another prescription for 2 weeks. So that means like now you're not taking anymore. You can't physically take anymore. You have none. Your heat is inevitable. It's about to happen. Like within the next like week and a half. And she's like, sounds good. And he also, Connor, there's also a part where he's like, you fucking knew that she was taking other meds. And she's like, I would rather her be taking black market meds and coming in so I can check on her than not talking to her doctor at all. And you can talk to the medical board about that if you want, but I was taking care of my patient. And I was like,
Good doctor.
I was like, honestly,
Good
like,
doctor.
I'm
Yep.
pretty okay with this doctor right now. Like she's
Yep.
doing great. A week goes by and her scent comes back, and Connor is very into it. Lana calls her gay alpha friend Roy, who she says smells like garbage, to hang out with her, and asks him to send her so she can be around Connor because it's getting really hard. Even though to her, Roy smells like garbage. So Roy, like, if you were to send somebody, it would be your cum. And he's like, I'm not going to do it. She's like, I don't want you to do that. And so he kind of like licks his hands and like does it on her mating marks and stuff. Fun fact, I don't like things with spit. And this was bothering me. This
yeah.
Sure.
This is not up your alley.
in my older age, bodily fluid stuff really starts
for
to gross
you.
me out. In
but
my
you
younger age,
used to be into it?
I guess so.
I guess.
I guess that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true though.
All right. Well, good for you.
We all find something out about ourselves.
Yeah.
The next day, she goes into the tutoring session, and Connor is like, "Who is he? Who the fuck do you smell like?" And he's like, "I can't be in this room." He starts kind of going like kind of crazy. He's like, "I can't be in this room in this enclosed space with you smelling like that. I just can't. We have to go somewhere else." And she's like, "Okay." Well, like he's about to like lose his mind. She's like, okay, we can go somewhere. And they drive to like a clearing in the woods, kind of.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We can't be in this enclosed space. Let's get
So
into a
car.
tighter enclosed
I know.
space.
Yes.
Well,
and
I
go
think
to a remote location.
The windows were down. The windows were down. The windows were down.
Okay. Yeah,
And-
sure.
Fine.
They go on a drive, and he finally loses it. He pulls over, he pulls her onto his lap and starts like scenting her because it's making him crazy, leading to what I call number one, make out point. In which, also, I don't know if you know this, I tend to name my sex scenes or like intimate scenes.
I didn't know that,
just so you
but
know.
now I'm glad I have that
it's
flavor.
like, you need
That's
to know
her
that.
thing, yeah.
So he's pulled her on, and he's like licking and kissing her neck, and she's like, "This feels great." and it's getting hotter and heavier. They're like really necking. It's great. And then a semi truck, just like flies by, and it kind of knocks them out of it. And they're like, we can't do this. We can't do this. And they go on a walk. They go like on a hike. And
No sex walk.
yes, and he's like, to like cool off.
Oh, yeah.
And he offers to help her while they're on this walk. He's like, I want to help you through your heat. She's like, you said, because he moved back here, and Cassandra and him had originally moved out east. Yeah, they're like on the West Coast.
Mhm.
And she goes, what about Cassandra? You said you guys were on a break. And he's like, I can't do this with you. Or she's like, I can't have you help me through my heat and then go back to her.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he's like, think about it. And she's like, okay. She goes home. Roy's birthday is happening, and her other friend are like, let's get drunk. And they go to a club, and being an unclaimed Omega, so close to her heat, a lot of alphas are hitting on her. Her friends have her phones, and she can't find them, so she borrows the phone from the bartender and calls Mac to help get her home. But Connor is there, picks up, and is like, I'll be right there. Don't move. She goes outside to try and leave and is followed by a bunch of creepy alphas. Connor shows up in the nick of time and saves her. He takes her to his house, and she crashes in his bed, and they cuddle and sleep. Nothing else.
Okay.
But she's surrounded by his scent. She's in his pajamas. They kind of cuddle. It's so great.
It's everything
Oh my
she's ever
gosh.
wanted.
Yes.
Yeah.
The next morning, they wake up to a knock at the door. Cassandra has come and surprised visit.
Oh, Cassandra didn't do anything wrong.
Cassandra
in
did
this
not do anything
scenario,
wrong.
but these two are idiots.
And it's clear. And Cassandra's like, "Oh, Lana, how are you?" And Lana's like, "I gotta go." And
I
it's
need
not,
to fuck your boyfriend.
Yeah,
Right.
but it's not like there's no jealousy, there's no weirdness. It really does seem like they are just friends now.
Yeah.
But Lana just can't handle it. She's like, "I gotta go. I can't do this." She takes Connor's car. She's like, "How else am I gonna get home?" Takes his car, drives
Sure.
home, and can
We're gonna
feel.
Gatsby this. We're
Yes.
gonna get in a car wreck. Let's go.
We're about like 75% of the way through, by the way.
I got you.
Not to spoil the end of the Great Gatsby, but
No,
I didn't know. I didn't know.
Leo. She goes home and she's like, "My heat is coming." I just realized I was not talking to the microphone. Her heat's coming, and she puts on the shirt from the ceremony 3 years ago. Even though it doesn't smell like her outfit anymore, it is her comfort shirt. And she's starting to sweat. She doesn't feel good when all of a sudden a knock happens
And
upon
who
her
should
door.
arrive?
It's Connor.
well, how the turntable.
If it isn't the consequences of my actions.
Yes.
Who, she did take his car. So he gets there.
yeah.
But she doesn't have a peephole or anything. So she opens the door in just the t-shirt. She's not wearing underwear or anything, which I was like, girl. But you
So
know
you
what?
open the door? Come on.
She's going into heat brain. So maybe she
She
don't
got nothing
frazzle.
there, yeah.
And it's Connor. And he immediately gets a whiff of her because she doesn't have underwear on.
Yeah,
my
full
God.
And he goes,
pussy out.
and he goes, "Oh my God, you're my mate." And she tries to close the door and he's like, "Nope," and opens the door. And she's like, "My fears are confirmed. You seem to only want me because of my scent." And he's like, "You're dumb. I've always been in love with you, you fucking idiot."
yeah.
And it leads to number 2, which I call a second chance at a first heat. And they just bang for like the next 10% of the book. It's
Great.
just so much sex, just sex. And it's her first time. And she,
So much sex you couldn't even name it all?
no.
Wow.
Yeah, I will say it. She does describe. Would you like to hear a description of what he looks like?
Please.
She said as as thick as a Coke can. And
The Coca-Cola company exists in this book, and
And-
that is so upsetting
and
to me.
twice as long.
So
I'm like, I was
that's
like-
too much.
I was like, how? I
Far
mean,
too much.
I hold a
It's too
Coke.
much.
I hold a Coke. She's like, I can't fit one hand around it. And I was like, oh my God. And he, being a pre-med guy, is like, your biology your slick produces, you're able to
Ugh.
fit me. It's okay. It's a whole thing. So they bang.
Do you have it? Okay, one more question about
Yeah,
the
what's
banging
up?
since we're gonna yada yada over.
Let me drink my wine.
Did you have a favorite thing that happened during the 10% banging session, other than the giant cock?
You know what? In terms of sex scenes, I've read better. This was a very good one.
Yeah,
It was just one big one though.
got it. Okay,
I actually like a sex scene later in the book.
okay.
Yes.
So it wasn't a marathon; it was just a single sex.
This was a marathon.
Got it.
This was like 4 days of just sex.
Got it.
And he's like, I need to. At one point, she wakes up. He's not there. She's like, oh my God, he left me. And he's like, dude, I was making you breakfast. You
Cute.
need to eat. And she's like, I don't need breakfast. I need your cum. Let's go. And he's like, sounds good.
Okay, fun.
Yes.
No,
At one-
you're right. No, you're right.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
right.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
right.
This
Yeah.
is what we're doing here.
It's she's a virgin, so she's kind of like trying everything.
yeah.
So it's I
Great.
mean, it's
Okay.
just a lot, but it's good. Okay. But it's a lot. So nothing too special.
okay.
She believes during the heat, she actually bites him, marking him for her. And she begs him to bite her back, and he doesn't do it.
Betrayal.
Betrayal. And she believes that he's going to leave again. She comes out of the heat and she's like, what the fuck? Why didn't you bite me? He's like, I wanted you to choose me out of the heat. I wanted to make sure you weren't just saying that while you were in your heat.
Valid.
But she has been hurt before, and she's like,
Is
you
it?
didn't
Consent.
want me. I agree with that. I think I've read a lot of books where I'm like, it is important to get consent outside of your like heat time.
Yeah.
But also like, it just like felt, it was like that thing of like, dude, you bit him. Like,
Yeah.
clearly he's in this and he's trying to give you like, clearly he fucked up so much that he's trying to give you space, and he overcorrected, it seems. But like,
Yeah.
the
The intentions were good, I think.
but her traumatized brain is like, I
Again,
can't
it's the
do
thing
this.
of like, this is so deterministic anyway. Like, what are we even doing? Why are we at playing shot? Like, we're playing coy at this point.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
you've handled his 2 Coke can
Yeah,
dick.
2 Coke
Like,
can, 1
Let's have a
Come on.
conversation.
Like,
one
come
wide,
on
one wide,
now.
2 across, or 1 across, 2 down.
yeah.
And so he's like, girl, I love you. And she's like, I need space. And he's like, he kisses her and he goes, I'll wait for you. And she goes to Mac's house the next day to drop off the car that she stole from Connor. And he kind of like, she tells him,
what's a little Grand Theft Auto amongst friends?
She tells Mac everything, like not in too much detail, but she's like, he helped me through my heat. And Mac's like, oh, finally, I've been waiting for you guys to get together. And she's like,
very
no.
weird thing for a parent to say about his son.
I know, but she's like, no, he really fucked up. He kind of she tells him about the bite stuff, and Mac's like, God, he's a fucking idiot. And they hear him coming, and she's like, please don't tell him I'm here. I'm going to hide in the kitchen or whatever. Connor gets there. He confronts Mac because he found out that his dad knew.
Yeah, that he's
the whole
basically been
time.
covering for her.
They get into a fight. Connor punches his dad. And then Lana's like, God damn it, and comes out, and she like makes a noise, and Connor immediately like hears it and is like, where is she? And comes out with like an ice pack and paper towels, and she goes, that was really unnecessary. And his dad is like, hee, now you guys are talking. And I was like, I kind of love this.
I do kind of love him.
Dad is
Yeah.
I
shipping
do
so
love
hard.
the dad.
The facilitator of everything. Yeah.
I love that the dad is
As
shipping.
weird as it is, I do love the dad.
They kind of talk a little, but Connor is like, she's like, I still need space. He's like, totally get it. The next day, Roy and Lana go to the gym. He's like, you need to work this out. And she's like, yes, I do. They go to the gym. Connor is there in like the fight ring with all the other alphas getting it out. And she's like, oh my God, I'm so attracted to him. There's blood everywhere. Girl, I get it. And when they walk in, Connor sensed Roy, who was the alpha that scented her first. And he was like, he's like, you and me in the ring. And she's like, no. That's not necessary. And Roy's like, this is hilarious. And she's like, he's gonna kill you. You need to go. And she kind of distracts him enough that Connor's like, okay, picks her up, takes her to the bathroom, which I call number 3. Ew, the gym bathroom.
Ew.
Yeah. But great sex scene.
Is this your favorite?
This is actually my favorite sex scene.
Does he lift her up at some point? Is that
Yes.
is that why it's your favorite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like feeling dainty. It's like a lot of like lifting. He like tears her leggings, which it's okay. She doesn't walk out butt naked. And like there's a lot of, things, but he denies her because he's like, you got to think about things. I don't want to do that. Which I was like, ooh, I kind of think that's hilarious though.
I think it's kind of funny. Yeah. Tricksy, but funny.
The last tutoring session is upon them, and she goes in. Connor does not show up. She's waiting 5 minutes.
Again, he doesn't show up.
Look,
She's waiting
men are
5
trash,
minutes.
and they will disappoint you.
She's waiting 10 minutes. She's waiting 15 minutes. She finally gets a text from Connor, and it's an address. And she drives there, and she sees that it's the ceremonial site. And there's a table with a piece of paper on it, and it just says run. And so she runs, and he primal play hunts her through the forest, basically going, it's not like completely said, but I'm pretty sure it's like where she basically had her first heat. And
let's get through let's relive the trauma, but like in a sexy way.
yeah, we're going to erase your trauma with a fun time.
Yeah.
And I call this one number 4, claimed amongst nature. And
I gotta say, this feels like exactly the kind of thing that a stupid guy would come up with thinking it's hot, and it's actually the worst thing you could possibly do.
she's into it. I'm
Sure.
glad she's into it. In
No.
real
No.
life,
She have a panic attack.
In real life, you got to talk about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Got to talk about that kind of stuff. Get your whole safe word and everything. If you're gonna do primal play, talk about it beforehand, guys.
Oh yeah, there needs to be a very extensive plan.
And they bang. She's like, I want you to bite me. He's like, absolutely. He bites her. They have a great time. And then it ends with them laying in the clearing being like, forever, forever. And then the book ends.
Wow.
I know.
That's abrupt as hell.
I know. But that was my Omega-verse version of Pon Farr.
Okay.
I see it.
Yeah,
Right?
totally. I see it.
I read a couple just to try and find the like, I want her to be like dead if she didn't do this.
Yeah, you need like the biological stakes.
Yeah.
A lot of them were like, I'm just sad and depressed. And it's like, no. I need more biology in this. So
100%.
the question I have is, if you had to pick something to do 2 times a year or you would die, what would it be?
Only 2 times a year?
You have to do it 2 times a year every year for the rest of your life or you die.
Okay.
Is it something that I have the urge to do every day?
Yeah, like, because there are a lot of things I would do 2 times a year that I do every day. But it
no,
doesn't have to be
'cause-
something I don't want to do.
I mean, do people want to go into heat? If you have a partner, I guess you do.
Yeah.
and sex and heat are two different things. So my
Indeed.
first thought was truly, it was like cook and eat a feast or something like that. Like cook a Thanksgiving feast.
You have to do that or you'll
I
die.
have to do that 2 times a year or I'm going to die. It doesn't matter. I don't have to eat all of it, but I have to like really indulge and do a
like
gigantic
that.
feast 2 times a year, which I was like, that's kind of a fun one, isn't it?
Okay. All right.
Unless you fuck up your calendar and you're like, oh my God, I have 3 days to make a feast. I have nothing in my kitchen.
I'm trying to think of something that I would still enjoy, but that would be mildly inconvenient to coordinate. And the first thing that popped in my head was like, have a threesome. I have to.
That would be mildly inconvenient.
Yeah, like it's
That
gonna
would.
take a little bit of effort to like
Sure.
set that up,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't be bad.
Unless you have the same people every time, which
I could probably
You
do.
could, yeah.
But you don't know, like somebody's out of town.
Yeah, or you get a surrogate. You have a list and you go, hey, so and so's out. I need a third.
I need a third.
Can you be my unicorn?
That'll
Yeah.
be my answer because it
Threesome?
because my first thought was like something that like would be easy that I would just do, but it feels like the spirit of your question is it needs to be a little bit annoying.
I know. Yeah. I'm like, I don't want to cook I don't want to roast a chicken every time.
But you'll enjoy it once it's done.
yeah. I love that.
That's how I feel about
my
threesomes.
thought was food and your thought was sex.
Yeah.
See, my thought was sort of the inverse is that I want to do it every day, but it's bad for me and I like shouldn't do it. So I'm putting it off and then I'm only doing it twice a year.
Oh my God, what is it?
Not masturbation, which is what you're thinking.
What are you doing over here? What do you want?
Playing Slay the Spire.
Okay.
But I am so fucking addicted to that game. I will play it every day, all day, if given the opportunity. I need to put boundaries on myself, or it will ruin my life.
That is such a fun idea, and I want to change my answer to I have to do a hunt a killer every 6 months. I want to do that. We did that for like 2 or 3 years in a row for her birthday. We would
Yeah.
get like
Love
an
that.
old one where it's like, you get them
It
for like
started
week by week.
during COVID. We rented like
Yeah.
a cabin and did hunt a killer with like our 4
Yeah.
friends.
And it was like all 6
my
weeks
birthday.
in one because it was an old one,
Yeah.
so you could buy them in bulk. And we did it all day.
It was so much fun.
It was, and then we did it again for another birthday. Oh my God, it
That
was
does
such a
sound
good time.
really
Yeah.
Oh man, but that was the Pon Farr episode. Question now: you've heard both our stories. Can you rate our stories out of 5 raccoons and trash cans?
Ooh.
Based on like just the research that we did.
Yeah, like how well do you think it fits Pon Farr in general, and then also just general enjoyment of the story?
Sure. So I mean,
Feelings won't be hurt. Do whatever you want.
no, totally understand. I think yours 5s across the board.
Thank you.
100%. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a bit cheating just being like, we're doing Star Trek because that's what it is. But at the same
I'll allow
time,
it.
like,
I'll allow it.
absolutely excellent. I was there for every moment. There are times when I was like, I forgot I'm at a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm just so enthralled by this.
That's my goal every time.
Yeah,
Thank you.
100%. Like 5s across. It got to the point that I was like, I just need to read this myself.
Yeah.
We're gonna link it. We always link it.
Yep.
So once the episode's out, you'll see it.
Yours?
0.
No, I'm like because there were merits.
True.
There were
And it was
strong
the
merits.
equivalent of what I could find.
Yeah,
too,
and
so-
I'm not upset because it was impressive. The link through were like, this is definitely Pon Farr, just under a different name.
Mm-hmm.
It was just more the content makes me like. I'm gonna say like 3.5, 3.5.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Raccoons
That's good.
in a trash can. I mean. Yeah, again, really nailing the feeling of like I gotta fuck him or I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
and like following the medical repercussions of that.
Yeah.
There were a lot of twists and turns. There were some great side characters. Ultimately, it just like it's a little bit me versus the Omegaverse. I'm always gonna have a little bit of beef and a little bit these stupid fucking kids
Yeah.
can't just have a goddamn conversation.
Just talk.
Oh, I get that that's like drama and that's what we want. And at the same time, like this is a little bit of the inspiration behind Smut is like, I don't want to go to the easy parts. I don't want to go
Yeah.
to like we're having, a conflict because of miscommunication because we're too immature to
Yeah.
have it. That's like, I want to find the conflict where you and I can have an honest conversation and at the same time, it's still fucking hard.
Yeah.
Pun
Yeah.
intended.
It is nice to have that feeling
Coke
though.
cans.
It's like it did make you feel something, even if it was annoyance and anger. It made you feel something.
Yeah.
Which I was
no,
like, I do like that. I enjoy that. And I'm
yeah, above
happy.
average, like
And
I
I'm
said.
happy
Yeah,
with it.
it was
Yeah.
good for analysis. We had a lot to talk about.
I'll take it. I'll take it. We're at the end of our show.
Yeah.
Do you want to plug your books again?
Yes. Give us your pluggable.
Show us your book again.
Thank you for being
Where did my book go?
It's over here. I stole it.
So yeah, my name is Wells Thompson.
Ben, zoom in on this.
My name is Wells Thompson. I am your favorite comic book writer's favorite comic book writer. And I, among many other things, write smut. I write Love is Simple, which is, again, Greek mythology, but make it smuttier. I write The Cat Skin and the Rose, which is a fantasy series that is lesbian sword fighting. It's the sizzle to the to Smut's pop. I also write Frankenstein the Unconquered through Source Point Press. I write a book called Mechaton, which is very like mechs and Scott Pilgrim meets Pacific Rim nonsense.
Cool. Do you have where can people find this?
WellsThompson.com. It's just my name. Put it here. And I'm usually running a Kickstarter. I think I'm slowing them down a little bit just because the economy is shit and people don't have money to spend. But I'm still trying to put out around one a month. Cool. So you can always find my stuff on Kickstarter, and you can find me on Twitter. My name again at Wells Thomp, but you chop off the last 3 letters.
Cool. And Instagram as well, and
I have an Instagram. I rarely use it, but it's Wells Thompson.
We'll do your Twitter then.
I think I don't do fucking Twitter anymore.
We have nowhere to find you.
Yeah, well,
Blue Sky. That's what it is. Yeah. Sorry.
The thing, and then I do have a newsletter, Comics, Cats, and Cocktails on Substack. Cool. You can follow me there. I talk about comics, cats, and cocktails because I rescue cats, I make comics, and I was a bartender for 10 years, so I have a lot of cocktail recipes under my belt.
Cool. I love that. Thank you so much for being on.
Yes.
Remember that you guys can we have a Patreon and we have an Etsy shop, and subscribe everywhere because it helps us.
We have all the things. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on everywhere you get your podcasts. We're on Instagram, we're on, what else are we on? Etsy. And
whatever else. TikTok.
And TikTok. Oh yeah, we're on TikTok. You're probably watching one of these on TikTok. I don't know.
Probably. And we're just 2 raccoons
talking about
the best trash in town.
Bye.
Femmes Reading Filth is hosted, produced, and edited by Jessica Mole, Emily Barujan, Andrea Yuthmant, and Ben Oxshire. Intro music is by Tom Lair. Outro music by David Reddick. You can find and support us on Patreon and follow us on Instagram, Tumblr, Facebook, and TikTok at Femmes Reading Filth. Thank you for listening. Bye.